Oh, well. What?
Wait a minute. I forgot.
We forgot.
We were going to do this, but we've been involved in some very serious and heavy-duty conversations.
We can't repeat.
No, we haven't.
No, we can't. No, so here we go.
We're all zoning out.
Hello.
Can't get my light to work.
It's the Halloween edition from the Sugar Shack Studios, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show coming up. We don't know who we're going to talk to because they're not ready yet, apparently. I got to drive the 2023 Kia Telluride. I'll give you my thoughts on that. Conrad has the cruise-in calendar coming up this hour.
All right.
And we'll have This Week at Auto History as well. And let's not forget the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike, Out of This World Mars. King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on our Halloween show. It's not near as good as the one with Roseanne. Remember that show? The show was Roseanne, and they did the whole thing, and she popped out of the dining room table underneath the lid of with her head, and it was all sawed off, and it's funny. Do you remember that episode?
No,
it was pretty good. Yeah, back in the day, before she kind of lost her popularity.
Yep. We have sound on Facebook.
Good.
That's good.
Good.
That's good. We're not on our In Wheel Time network Facebook, our In Wheel Time page website. Thank you. That because for some reason, Mr. Mars, who's in charge of all this stuff,
Boy.
I just wanted to put that disclaimer out
It's
there.
under construction.
It's under construction. So, at any rate,
It's like all the highways in Houston.
Well, they
They've
ain't
been
no
under
lie.
construction
This
forever.
morning, it was like, who coordinates this stuff?
nobody. They don't coordinate nothing.
All the lanes are closed. Shift to the right. Up. All those lanes are closed. You got to shift back to the left. I mean, it's just pathetic.
Well,
It's silly, isn't it?
It's kind of shiftless.
Very silly.
Very
It's
shiftless.
military. Left, right, left, right.
Mr.
left,
Mars, would you
right.
go over there and turn on the lights so I can look at my notes here?
It's scary.
I know that you're trying to get a hold of somebody.
Yes, I
You
am.
might want
our
to take your
first
headset
guest.
off because I don't know if it'll reach.
I got faith.
Do you?
He's got long arms.
There you go.
Oh,
Thank you
man.
very
I have a
much.
long cord.
Now we got to stay awake.
Stop bragging, okay? We're supposed to have a guest, but guess what? We don't have a guest.
Oh, she's not answering.
Yeah, well, there you go. Probably sleeping in somewhere.
Well, it's 9 o'clock where she's at. She ought to be up and going.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
she's forgot about us.
Apparently.
Uh-huh. I do have news that I wanted to bring up right off the bat. General Motors and Stellantis have each agreed to provide 25% wage increases to UAW members in their ongoing contract talks, matching the same offer by Ford Motor Company to end the 6-week strike, according to people familiar with the discussions, and Bloomberg, who got all of the information apparently. I got my information from, of course, Automotive News, and we thank them for that. The GM proposal also includes cost of living increases over the more than 4-year contract, according to two of the people who were not authorized to speak about the negotiations, but they did anyway. The full contract has not been finalized yet, and the two sides continue to discuss details, including how to handle temporary workers, according to those folks. Any final agreement must be approved by union leadership and then voted on by the company's union members, a process that could take weeks. The UAW's latest proposal came a day after the union reached a tentative agreement with Ford Motor Company that would raise wages 25% over the next 4 years and reinstate cost of living adjustments.
Which, in the end, 4 years from now, is going to be the 40% they asked for. Because by the time you take the 25 and COLA for 4 years, that increase is going to equate to their 40% request.
Is that how it works?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, this is me thinking now. All right, so we're going to have a 40% increase in wages. So how much is that going to cost per car? Okay? You take that and you go, well, whatever the figure is, that means that they're going to raise the price of the cars
They have
because, you
to.
know, the bean counters are going to go, nay, we can't build these without this huge profit
Right.
per vehicle. Well, now you're going to start pricing American-made cars, which traditionally are cheaper than most foreign cars, BMW, Mercedes, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to price them in competition with them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you put a Chevy Trax or whatever it is up against a BMW for the same price? Which one are you going to buy?
Me, still going to buy the Chevy because I wouldn't own a BMW.
You
on
understand the point that I'm trying to make.
Well, but think about it though. Over the last 5-7 years, Suburban price is easily $100,000 if you're buying a full Zoot Suburban.
Yeah, and if you're going to buy the same vehicle in the Cadillac badge, you're looking at $120,000.
Yep. So now it's going to be, $120,000 for your Suburban and $150,000.
I have a full-size Mercedes-Benz SUV, three-row, big SUV out there that's actually under $100,000. It's right at 100, but it's right there. Okay, am I going to buy the Mercedes-Benz?
Is that one made in South Carolina?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet, but it doesn't make any difference. It's $100,000, and so is the wife going to buy or want me to buy the Mercedes-Benz
Mine did,
or the Chevrolet?
because I bought after how many years I worked for General Motors and drove General Motors cars. First car we bought afterwards, bought Andrea Mercedes-Benz, and she loves it.
Well, it comes back down to the idea of what value you're going to get for it. And right now, if you look at it, Mercedes-Benz is considered a much more
Luxurious,
Yeah.
elegant.
quality
Yep.
type vehicle than the Chevrolet is.
Well, I think we may learn a little bit more after Jeff's segment on.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, and we may be, but I mean that's just the general perception. So if you went in and somebody said you got to pick between these two,
Price being
and
equal.
the price is equal, what are you going to do? That's the whole point. And I mean, it's like saying it's a GMC versus a Chevrolet. Which one are you going to take?
They're the exact same truck. That's why every now and then,
No, they're not.
Chevy and GMC take their clothes off. They're the exact same truck.
But with the clothes on, it's not the
Headlights,
same truck.
taillights,
But they go down
interior.
the same assembly line, Mike.
I understand, but the interior, the paint quality, you go look at the GMC.
Paint
yes.
quality is no different.
Okay. I'm not
Because
going to
they're all
argue
shot
with
in the
you,
same
but the
paint
fact
booth.
remains that the GMC is generally considered a more quality vehicle than the Chevrolet.
Perceived to be, right?
Well, that's what matters. Your perception is your truth.
And that's why they make those different divisions of cars.
Exactly. If they were exactly the same,
They
then
wouldn't have name
they would
changes.
spend the money
Yeah.
to sell them
I will
separately.
tell you this, that I drove recently, and so did you, the Canyon, the GMC Canyon, and the
Several.
Chevrolet. Yeah, and the Chevrolet.
Colorado.
Uh-huh. And I will tell you that I would prefer the GMC
Absolutely.
because it's nicer inside. And it's in your face nicer.
Yeah.
And yes, you're going to pay a few $1,000s more for it.
There's
But
a
as
reason.
far as the manufacturer is concerned, I'll bet you that GMC interior didn't cost any more than the Chevrolet interior. I'll bet you.
And if it did, it was minimal. But it's the idea that I can sell it for more, so I'm going to.
Correct.
And then they build that perception up in people's minds. It's like my wife got into, I don't know, it was another vehicle after the Canyon left. And she looked around. She said, "Where's my Denali?"
Yeah.
Because we had the Canyon Denali.
We had the Kona after that.
No, I think the Kona was before.
You're never going to
Which
live that down.
apparently not. I'm going to get a shirt made.
There you go.
Uh-huh. And all it's going to say on the front of it is Kona.
Kona Gold.
No, that was Acapulco Gold.
Acapulco
Yeah.
Gold.
And
That was the
Maui Wow.
color.
That was the Dodge. That was
the Dodge that had the Acapulco Gold. That is so clever. I wonder if those kids up there in Auburn Hills, where Stellantis is, that they said, we're looking for a color name, so we're just going to name it after weed from the 1960s.
Yeah, because Mexican ditch weed
Listen,
didn't work.
Yeah, it's kind of like which segment are we after? How old were they back?
Yeah, that's right.
You got to target your segment.
Absolutely, and I'm all for that.
You can have,
I can only imagine what the color of the green one is. I haven't looked, but
And they're going to change the word hood to lid.
And Houston's going to have a bumper crop of Houston watermelon.
Oh,
very soon.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
so I have
bumper
to give you the
Might as
story if you
well.
don't know about it. I covered a wreck this week, and it was out here not too far from me on the US 59, which is like, a 10-lane freeway that goes
Massive,
by out
yeah.
here.
Parking lot.
And it was in the early morning. And we went out there, and there was an 18-wheeler that the actual tractor was now separated from the trailer. And it was all jacked up. Couldn't really make out exactly where the hood was supposed to be and that sort of stuff. But the trailer had gone underneath an overhead sign. Now, the sign was way much taller than the trailer itself. Way taller. So how did the trailer get the entire top of it ripped completely off and destroyed?
Skill.
All I could
Takes
determine
talent to
was
do that, right?
the guy either swerved or fell asleep and hit the side wall, the guardrail, if you want to call it that. And when it did, it tumped it over enough to hit the upright that's on the other side of it that holds the sign up. And that when it hit that thing, it ripped the entire top off of it and all the watermelons inside. So all of the debris was over on the feeder side, the service road. And it was everywhere. And was it
And
you that said
Hempstead was crying.
Hempstead was crying? No, this had to come up from the valley somewhere.
Yeah.
And there weren't that many. It wasn't full. And it's the end of the watermelon season anyway.
And they could have been taking them to be destroyed somewhere, in a farm for cattle feed and stuff like that.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But there was watermelons everywhere. And like you said, well, it depends on whether or not they're seeded watermelons or seedless watermelons. If they're seeded watermelons, then,
There'll be a bumper
there's
crop.
going to be a bumper crop
Yeah.
there along the
The
feeder.
wild watermelon patch of Houston.
Yeah.
You see people picking up pecans off the ground. They're going to be picking watermelons.
Well, we used
off the
to
feeder.
do the dewberries, and they were always along the railroad tracks. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but the easement there from the railroad tracks to the field or whatever was next to the railroad tracks covered in dewberries. You go in there and you can get buckets of them for free. So
So tune in next week for our cooking segment.
let's do the cooking
Let's do
segment
the
now.
cooking segment.
Watermelon dewberry jam.
There you go.
Mars, would you? Apparently we were overdriven here because somebody had hit the button a little bit too heavy duty, so I cranked it down. Would you check on that?
Yeah, well, I'm listening to it now.
Does it sound better?
It sounds better. You're still a little bit, but it's you.
It's me. I'm
And I
hot.
just figured that you're
Oh, well, 'cause
you're hot, so
I'm
what
hot
can
and
you
you're
say?
not. So just go with
Live
that.
with it, huh?
Live with it. You know that.
Okay.
Since we've got
Welcome to the show.
welcome to the show.
We got to fix our display up front.
Squirrel.
Kathy sent me a text. We got
What
It
display?
kind of drooped a little bit. We'll get it at commercial break.
You're drooping. Your wife says you're drooping.
Yeah, all the time. The decorations.
That was from
Conrad-
a fan. That was from
Conrad,
I didn't say
don't
anything.
even go.
I didn't say anything.
But you were thinking.
He
it.
was.
I still am.
I smell the wood burning. He's thinking about it.
Oh dear God!
Jeff
Is
was
it going to be
thinking
one
about
of
it
those?
as he said it.
It's going to be one of those kind of shows, isn't it?
And we're
And this
back
is all,
live in the
all
studio.
because of a woman that we can't pronounce her last name that didn't show up like she was supposed to.
That's all right. That happens.
It does, and we're going to call her out. Her name was Jeanette Desjardins, or Desjardins,
Jardine.
or whatever. We don't know how to pronounce it. And she's with Car Chicks, the premier motorsports organization for women. So she didn't show up.
President.
Yeah. No, she's the president and founder.
Yes.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were lost.
apparently.
Well, they found her.
So there you go. So thanks a lot, Jeanette.
She'll be back.
We'll have you on another time.
Yeah, we'll ridicule you then too,
Oh boy.
and make fun of you and go, hey, you not keep those appointments.
There.
Mars set it up. It's his fault
Oh.
again.
It's always Mars's fault.
It is. We're going to place
If you
blame.
don't believe it, just ask my wife, and she will tell you.
We
Your
did
wife
last
is
week.
Very nice.
and she agreed.
Your wife
Yes,
is
she did.
lovely. You have a lovely wife.
Yes,
Very
she
nice
is,
lady.
but she's married to him.
Well, that's a different story.
Well, it is. All right.
You got to take the bad with the good.
Apparently. Now, I've got that. I'm shuffling papers over here because right now, as we head into the car review of the hour, which is the Kia Telluride, I wanted to do the cruise-in calendar.
Awana.
And we've got cruise-ins lined up that we haven't had lined up in quite some time. And one of them, and I'm going to go ahead and do it, is the Tailpipes and Tacos cruise.
Yay.
Hallelujah.
It's been almost
yay.
a year, 11 months. I think it's 11 months. And you'll hear the commercial here at the bottom of the hour. So that's at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, which is I-10 and
Kingsland.
99 in Kingsland. And it's coming up on November 11th, 2 weeks away.
Yes.
We'll be there doing our live broadcast, and we invite all of our car aficionados to come on out and vie for some chili pepper trophies.
Mm-hmm.
There's one of them right there. It's a nice looking trophy, too. It's got a big hot chili pepper on the top of it. So that's going to be 8 to 11. So trophies are awarded in 3 categories out there, and we invite you to come. It's a really good time, a lot of camaraderie, and
Good show.
it is. And this particular one, free breakfast taco, any donation will be matched by Stan Holtz, the founder
Personally.
of Lupi Tortilla, and given to God's Garage. So all the money is going to a great cause, and it's a great time of the year to get in the giving spirit. We're going
That's
to
right.
start it off. All right.
And trophies. We need our Wally. We've got to get a Wally up.
So I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but I just wanted to get that in.
So tonight is Nifty 50s cruise in up in the Woodlands, and Randy always does the trunk or treat for Halloween.
Yep.
So that should be a pretty good thing. Bring your kids. Just don't let them wipe their sticky fingers on people's cars. Candy and Cars at Luby's in Lake Jackson is also tonight at 5:30 p.m. And the Buddha Show and Shine at Cabela's on the I-35 frontage road in Buda, Texas is tonight at 6:30 p.m. Dusk to Dawn Car Meet, the Halloween edition. Ooh. On East Cooper's Cove.
It's Copperas Cove, isn't
Copperas Cove, Texas. Nightmare on 290. I've driven that road many times.
Because that's
And
every
that name
day.
fits.
Yeah, that's every day.
Cruise in Trunk or Treat at the NTB on Northwest Freeway. Tribute Special Supercar Showcase at Six Pines Drive in the Woodlands is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And then on the 29th is the Truck and Coffee Halloween edition at War Memorial Park. $19.99 and older trucks only. It's a free cruise in. Next weekend is Coffee and Chrome as well
Correct.
at Avalon Diner. The Jeep Days at Whitehall Cafe in Navasota, Texas is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Bring your Jeep out. And then the Bear Creek UMC Trunk or Treat off of Rippling Water Drive. That's a good name for a street, huh? And that's in Houston. That's an open cruise, trunk or treat, free entry.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, sir. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2024 Kia Telluride. It's available in these trim levels, starting from the bottom on up. LX, S, EX, and up the list is the SX, the SX Prestige, and then with those two, you can also get the X Line and the X Pro. It's confusing, and so if I were to offer Kia any suggestions when it comes to that, let's just have the X Line and the X Pro. They've got so many packages that you can get with this. I had the SX Prestige X Pro V6 all-wheel drive.
That's an alphabet soup.
It is. What size, what class? Standard SUV, we call it a midsize. How many passengers? 7, because it's 3 rows. Exterior changes from last model year. Well, the thing debuted in 2020, and it was refreshed last year for 2023.
That's pretty quick.
That's real quick. Signature exterior features, Kia grill with vertical headlights, attractive wheel combos depending on your trim level, traditional slab sides, very conservative looking on the side, hockey stick taillights with dual exhaust tips on the right rear only. They're not split.
Ooh, sort of Euro.
Very Euro, yeah. What I liked about it, the modern yet conservative design. What could use improvement? Nothing. And they're apparently selling every one that they make.
Good looking truck.
It is, and I see a lot of them on the road. Interior highlights. 12.3-inch touchscreen, which has been moved a little closer to the driver. How did they do that? They put a little plastic piece behind the screen that melds right into the dashboard, and it brings it a little bit closer to the driver so you can use the touchscreen. That's good. Faux wood trim under the gauges and the infotainment system above the HVAC controls. It runs really the entire length of the dashboard. Nice storage on the center console with a passive phone charger as well. Cargo and trunk room, gobs of room with the third row down. What I liked about it, the upscale, quilted, stitched, comfortable leather seats.
Gorgeous looking interior.
It really is.
I mean, truly a gorgeous looking interior.
Yep. What could use improvement? The cruise control is confusing to use. As silly as that is, you would think that we got all this right, and the cruise control is, no, don't complicate it. It's not that complicated. This thing has a 3.8-liter V6 with 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. And what I'm learning with these engines, the big movement is to turbocharge a four-cylinder and get 291, 300 horsepower out of it. Okay. Well, the problem with that is there's a disconnect in many levels with the start-stop feature, the turbo with its inherent lag if they don't dual turbo it, and the transmission.
The multi-gear transmission.
It's
get lost.
You're right. It's hard to find itself sometimes, depending on how fast you're going and what gear it's in.
Yeah. Am I in boost? Do I downshift? When do I do which?
Yeah.
I don't know.
8-speed automatic transmission. And that'll tow up to 5,500 pounds. Payload on it's 1,395. It gets 18 miles per gallon in the city, 24 highway for a combined of 20. I got 21.9 miles per gallon over 289.7 miles.
That's pretty good for what I consider to be a full-size SUV.
Yeah, it's not as big as a Suburban, which would be, in the government's terms, a full-size or standard SUV.
But I kind of put it not too far away from a Tahoe.
That's correct, with 3 rows of seating. So it's a multi-function vehicle that would be great for growing families, I think. Take it on vacation, be comfortable in it, have room for the luggage. It's just a comfortable ride. It does have plenty of power. What could use improvement, like I said, likes to downshift on freeway overpasses, 70 miles an hour. Sometimes it'll go down 2 gears. Why? It doesn't need to do that. It gets lost there at 70, 73 miles an hour, and it starts to downshift to go over an overpass? No.
Just let it lug.
Yeah. Ride and handling, I like the smoothness of it. What could use improvement? The steering is a bit overboosted for me. That makes it a little bit twitchy on the road. You barely any input.
And that should be tunable on somebody's part because it's electronic steering.
And they claim that it is. I didn't feel it. And it's great in, a grocery store parking lot because you're in there. But at any rate, there's always something, and leave it to me, I will find something wrong with it.
Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, you're welcome. Don Karen Armstrong. Like it. Base trim price, $53,185. And you say, well, dang, that's expensive. Well, get this. Price is tested, $55,540, but you can get into a base model for $35,990 if you don't gizmo it all up.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Competitors, the Hyundai Palisade, which is its twin, shares many components. It starts at $36,400, so $500 cheaper, $500 more expensive, I should say, than the base price of this particular vehicle. Mazda CX-90, it also is right in the same ballpark, $39,595, and the Honda Pilot goes for $37,000.
Now, isn't the Palisades made in the USA?
I don't know what.
One of them's made in the sister cars. One's in the USA, the other's not.
Well, this one here says final assembly point, West Point, Georgia.
Right.
So maybe.
Yeah.
Country of origin for the engine is in Korea.
Yeah.
The transmission is made in the United States. There you have it. That's my review of the 2024 Kia Telluride.
Cool.
Thank you, Kia, for letting me use it for a week, and I really enjoyed it overall.
Very good looking car.
It truly is. Let's see. What do we want to do here? We can take an early break and get to our guest that
Did show up.
early. He's been.
Thank
he's
you.
been-
This
I know.
gentleman's early, yeah.
Yeah. So I know you don't have a microphone on, Mars. You got the wrong headset on.
I said, don't get in a rush. He's having some video issues. We're going to switch to an audio interview.
Oh, we are.
We're working on setting that up right now.
Well, if that's the case, then
We'll continue. We got time.
we've got time.
Yeah.
I want to tell you that coming up at 9:30, we have an open segment, and I'm going to do a thing from the Corvette Forum, of which I am a member. And it's the top 10 things that kind of tick people off when you talk about their Corvette. And I will give you a little preview of it, okay?
Is it because the Corvette owners are kind of uppity? Or just
whatever. Here's one.
No, they've shaved their mullet. They grew up from a Camaro.
Corvette is a midlife crisis car. Real enthusiasts drive only manual transmissions.
Oh, there's
Every-
a Don thing.
Every sports car.
don't blow it. Don't blow
I'm
it.
not. Every sports car must be a track weapon. But you haven't heard the descriptions that are going on here. Corvette owner can't afford a Porsche.
Oh,
Calling the Corvette the plastic
Porsche owners
fantastic.
are uppity.
You bought a sports car just to show off, and the list
Don
goes.
fits all of those.
I do, yeah, I do. So anyway, all right. Time now for a quick break. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through iHeartRadio. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and sometimes on InWheelTime.com. And not this morning. Podcasts are available on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Tailpipes and Tacos is back. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, and it's an extra special one. Bring your Hot Rod Classic or Modern Classic to compete for one of the famous Chili Pepper trophies and get a free breakfast taco. Just make a donation of any size to God's Garage and Lupi's will match it. You'll be helping single mothers who need a set of wheels. It's been almost a year in the making, so you won't want to miss Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate what you want to God's Garage, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy at 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's car show season, and what better way to kick it off than a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Proceeds benefit God's Garage.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you will find on GM parts plus transmissions and engines. Over $25 million in parts and powertrain inventory and customer service that will be not matched by anyone in the country. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance, whether you are a drag racer, an oval track racer, a hot rodder, it matters not. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance will have the best price in the country, the best customer service, and the best delivery times that you will find on your GM parts. It can be on your dock, at your front door in a matter of days. It's Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, and customer service to boot. Contact our Texas team, Gina Scheil knows at 713-907-0906 or Rodney Rodriguez at 512-300-4445. You will not find better service or better inventory in the country. Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance.
Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
On
On the world-famous Smoke and Mirrors Network, welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Clint Cox with the Crash Dummies Car Club. Conrad has This Week in Auto History. We'll get you caught up on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. It's a Halloween spooktacular.
Oh,
Did you like that?
I like that. Did you write that?
I stole it at Walmart.
Through the self-checkout.
The self-checkout.
Do you know they're going to close on Thanksgiving because they're giving all these self-checkout employees the day off?
That's great. glad to know that. Thank you, Jeffrey. You always come up with things like that.
I'm taking Tylenol. Never mind.
That Mars.
That's why he uses self-checkout. He doesn't pay for it. He just takes the Tylenol.
That's it.
All right. Joining us now from I don't know where, but we're going to find out. It's Clint Cox, VW drag star, and let me rephrase that, drag racing star, and spokesperson for the Crash Dummies Car Club. Here he is, Clint Cox. I said those words and I thought, wait a minute, drag star. That didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. I'm sorry, Clint. Will you forgive me?
Yeah, I think my dad would be less proud of me if I was not the second one.
We always have to make our parents proud.
So Mars came up with this
right.
excuse that we have to have you in an audio format because something with your video. Where are you speaking to us from?
I'm in Euless, Texas, but it's raining up here pretty bad right now, and I see now the Spectrum guy is next door, so maybe there's something going on with the internet.
Yeah, that's it. It's raining. Where in Euless?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell everybody where Euless is.
Euless is right next to DFW Airport, so we're right between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Oh,
So not only do you have your internet out, you've got airplanes flying overhead, and that's probably the cause of the disconnect there between your.
That's who we're going to blame it on.
We'll blame it on them.
No, we'll blame it on Mars.
So, Clint, we understand that did you just come back from a drag racing event?
We just got back from one in Medford, Oregon. We didn't take a car this time. We had just put on a big event at Extreme Raceway Park in Ferris. So a lot of these guys from the West Coast and up in the Oregon and Montana, Idaho, all that area, they came down and raced with us. So we went up and hung out with these guys at one of their events up there.
Was it a
support.
VW event?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you know, I assume that there is a clique of you guys in various parts of the country, and you all race against each other in certain venues. Am I correct by dreaming that up?
Well, yeah. So obviously, to drag race a Volkswagen, it takes a pretty special kind of individual, and I use special lightly, right? Like it's is
that a special needs kind of a person?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
You spend cubic dollars to make the world's slowest car try to go fast. So, it definitely takes a special kind of person. But I grew up with Volkswagens, so it makes sense for me. I could be going a heck of a lot faster for a lot of money if I was racing something else, for sure.
But it wouldn't be nearly as cool, right?
Well, I probably would need help.
I have a very good.
I know the Volkswagen stuff.
I've got a very good friend of mine, Todd Sheldon, up in Castle Rock, Colorado. Growing up in the mid-'70s, he had a Volkswagen, and very nice car. We put scoops on the back for the intakes. We turned the wheels around, or he did, painted them white like wagon wheels. It was a cool little car that we tootled around in. Did a lot of ski racks on the back. It was awesome.
Are all of these drag cars that you guys run, are they all full-bodied bugs from the 60s and 70s?
Most of them. There's some that race dune buggies, like the fiberglass kind, and then there's a couple of them that race like sandrail type buggies.
Oh,
But for the most part, yeah, it's all bugs and Carmen Gias, and then there's a few guys race the Type 3 like the notchbacks.
And I assume that they're all air cooled engines, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we do allow water cooled cars. Like we have a lady class that races with us, and they're allowed to run water cooled cars. There's just not a lot of water cooled cars in this area that race, but I would say 98% of the cars are air cooled.
And what's the power adder of choice? Turbo, super, nitrous?
A couple guys run. So we just had a big race here in September. We called it Texas versus the world. There was a couple guys here with superchargers. There was a couple guys here with nitrous. Most of the cars run turbos as a power adder. A lot of the cars are just naturally aspirated, and they just run a lot of compression and race gas.
Wow.
so what?
Like we have a pro stock class that is like it's a naturally aspirated 9 pounds per cubic inch, and those guys are running high fives, low sixes in the 8th mile on a naturally aspirated engine.
That's pretty quick.
What are the years of Volkswagens that you see out there? I mean, what's the earliest?
Early to mid 50s.
Oh, my. Way back.
Yeah.
Early to mid 50s. That's the one with the little bitty oval window in the back.
Well, that's a classic there.
There's a couple with the split window.
Oh,
and then there's several of the oval windows. Yeah,
What is yours?
mine's a 60.
And why the choice of that time range of Volkswagen? Is there a benefit to that, be it chassis, engine, weight, versus one of the mid-60s, early 70s Volkswagens?
They just look cooler.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Well, you got to have that. You got to factor that in.
Now, are the bodied cars on their own chassis? If you want to call it that, the pan.
A lot of them are. Some of the full race cars, they're just a body on a full tube chassis, just like any race car. But most of the cars are still on their original pan. Like mine, I'm converting it. Like it's a swing axle car, and I'm converting it over to IRS and putting a bus gearbox in it with a fuel injected blow through turbo 2110. So it should run. It'll make anywhere from at the wheels probably 250 to 300 horsepower.
So with what?
And run low to mid 7s probably.
And what will it weigh?
With me in it weighs about 2,000 pounds.
So with all you just told us you're going to put on there, what does something like that cost to do?
A lot.
Let me make sure my wife's not listening.
Okay.
Yeah. There's always that criteria, yeah.
Well, like I have probably 9,000 or 10,000 in the long block, and then it'll be another. By the time I get it started, probably another 6,000 or 7,000 in fuel injection.
Okay. So
that long block's
That's
not
just
very
the
big.
engine.
So you are getting the Volkswagen in the settlement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fuel now the parts for this available? You don't have to make this stuff up. You don't have to cobble together a fuel injection system. They've got it. The heads are all ready and everything.
Oh yeah, there's a pretty good aftermarket support for them, especially the performance side. The factory type aftermarket stuff is kind of junk, but the performance aftermarket stuff is pretty readily available and pretty decent quality.
I have to tell you that if I were going to have me a Bug that had a hot rod motor in it, I would have to have it available to put it on the street. I'd have to have a license plate on it so I could go and tear it up on
Sleeper.
the street. So
You
to
want a
speak.
sleeper?
It wouldn't be a sleeper.
I would want a
I
sleeper.
would have a nice big long header hanging out the back of it.
And it would sound wild.
it would sound wild. Yeah.
No. Sleeper.
Mine, up until recently, I had stock wheels on it. Then the rear ones were just widened, and it was full body, roll up and down windows, and has bumpers and everything, and it was a total sleeper.
Yeah. And did you have it on the street at times?
Oh, I still drive it to work and back.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Go out there and spank the occasional Mustang and Camaro just
the
to look at their
Porsche.
face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's our drag racing side of it, and then our car club. We've been doing, just regular car club stuff for. I think we started it in late 2011, and that was like with a couple guys just hanging out in the garage drinking beer, and now we're up to like, I don't know, 28 or 30 members.
That's a lot of beer now.
There's a theme to what he just said. A lot of car clubs start that way. Beer and garage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you
Yes.
And so it's not like we don't pay dues, and we don't do, we're not super official. We have official members, and we, everybody. How do you become a member of Crash Test? It's like, I don't really know. You just hang out. If we like you,
Well, I know.
Bring the keg.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we were trying to hook up the video. I noticed you got a nice logo there on your shirt.
Yeah, that shirt is got my car on the back. That's my T-shirt I give out at when we go to the races, or
Yeah, and you can find the car club on your Facebook page. You're out on Facebook.
Now we've got an 8th mile drag strip here up at Houston Motorsports Park. Do you guys ever come down to Houston?
Yeah, so there is some guys that race with us that are in the Houston area, and they go over there. We tried to put a race on there, and
Let me
Can't think
guess
of the guy's name.
that the owner
Dean.
gave you a hard time.
no, he was pretty cool. But basically, we have two classes. We have like a slick tire class, and then we have a one for like street tires, like drag radial stuff.
Yeah.
And on, I guess, during our time when we race, which is about like mostly summer, Friday night we could race, I think, but most of our races had been on Saturday. Well, Saturday they run the dirt track, so the drag strip doesn't race, and then Sunday is slick tires only. And I said, hey, is there any way we can work it out, where we can allow, drag radials to come on Sunday and race? And it was a no-go. So we have not had a race in Houston yet.
Too bad.
Why? I don't understand the difference.
There's a big Volkswagen community here in Houston as well. A friend of mine, Bruce Morris, is pretty active in it.
Well,
I know Bruce.
Yep. Yeah, Bruce. I know Bruce. Bruce actually took my job over at General Motors.
Oh, great.
When I left. Good man. Very smart man.
Yeah.
So
good
what-
guy for
so-
sure. I know him and his son.
where do you go around here? Or do we all have to come
if
up there
you're
to
in
Euless?
Yeah, how far south do you
so
come?
we
Oh,
race.
Ferris.
Well, that's like what we call our home track, Extreme Raceway Park. We race in at Little River and Temple, and then we've been up to Wichita Falls. We've been to Red Line before they closed. There were some races at Cedar Creek, but other than that, we haven't done. I would like to go down to, what's the track down there close to Louisiana? Is it Avadel?
Evadale, yeah.
Well,
Evadale.
why don't you guys don't they have races up there at Ennis? I mean,
Yeah.
but you don't ever race on that track?
We haven't yet.
Isn't there a race coming up?
most of our
Track
Ennis?
time's expensive.
Yeah, there's another one you ought to look at down in
Yeah.
Lufkin. They just
Okay.
got NHRA. They just signed in their official NHRA now because
Pine-
one of the guys that was at
Pine Valley?
Baytown, went up there and he's helping them elevate that track.
So I do have one of the guys that races in Houston with us. He's kind of working on the guys at Pine Valley to get a race down there.
Yeah, that'd be close.
They've been bringing in a lot of stuff. They've been real active since the guy, I can't think of his name, that went up there from Baytown to help him out. He had something to do with running the track out here, not Angel, but somebody below that.
I would.
Well, and
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
it too is just figuring out how to get the track right. So when we do our points races, we just kind of fill in with another event that's going on. And Galen that runs the track, he's like, well, "What do y'all want from me?" Nothing. We just want to race. We'll do our own entry fee and our own payout, and we'll bring our own trophies and stuff. Just give us a couple lanes and let us fill in and
Sort of crashing the party.
complete
It's
our
kind of
race.
like the modified production guys kind of do that.
Yeah.
Nostalgia modified.
kind of like they did. We have one of our guys that races with us, and he's actually in the Crash Dummies. Also, he races in that modified production class.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. We've had them on the show a number of times. Pretty fun to watch that type of racing. Leave on the clutch kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is fun to
Yeah.
watch, and I kind of like the fill in thing. It's good for the track because they make a little money, which they need that they normally wouldn't make when these guys come to town.
Plus, they bring a different crowd to the track.
It's good
as
for the
well.
sport.
Yeah.
yeah,
in general,
absolutely. It's
Well,
fun.
yeah, it's good for the fans because people that come out to watch the Volkswagens get to see the other stuff that's at the track that they normally wouldn't see. And then the people that are out there for other stuff, when they see the Volkswagens, they totally freak out.
Yeah, those Volkswagen people are off the hook, boy.
I will never forget going down to Houston International Dragway, Raceway, whatever it was, down there in Dickinson back in the day. That the first time I ever saw a Volkswagen Bug on the drag strip, and I thought, oh my God, I can't believe that this car is as fast as it is.
Wheels up.
Oh, it was unbelievable. And I'll never forget it.
I was up at East Tex up there in Porter. First
Yes.
time I saw a Volkswagen Dragster. I mean, it's a little thing. I mean, of course, it's real small, real low to the ground, and it looked like a bullet.
Yeah,
I mean, just
yeah.
It was
It
gone.
sounded funny.
We had a guy here. There were several cars that were really fast at that Texas versus the World event, and we're going to do that every year. That's going to be an annual event now up there at Extreme. But one of the guys from California, and y'all may have heard of it, I don't know, is his name's Eric Calabrese, and the car is called the Red Baron. His fastest time, so the car's been sitting for years. He got it out and ran it at the Bugorama event in Sacramento like 2 weeks before he came to Texas, and that was the first time he'd been on the track in, I'd say, 6 or 8 years probably. And then he came down here and ended up winning our outlaw class with a time of like 5:35 at like 128 miles an hour or something. And the car it's wicked fast.
Well,
But it's just it's a air-cooled Volkswagen engine with a giant turbo on it.
so how do our fans, if you want to call them that,
Sure.
get a hold of you and find out your schedule and become involved, whatever level they want to? How do you do that? You got a Facebook page or something?
Yeah, so it's kind of difficult, but it's the Facebook page is Texas Volkswagen Drag Racing Association, and then we also have a Facebook page that's Texas versus the World VW Group. And so all of the races, the points races and the large, like when we did that one at the Texas versus the World, it has a car show and swap meet, and we did Power Wheels races and all kinds of stuff. So like for the kids, and it was so funny to watch. We let them go out there and use the tree, and they stage the cars, and then they raced to the 60-foot mark, and I had the big checks and everything to give them. But yeah, so Texas Volkswagen Drag Racing Association. and Texas versus the World VW group. That's where all the events will be posted, and any questions can be asked there, and there'll be lots of pictures posted there.
If we can help you in any way, just get in touch with Mike or email us info@inwheeltime.com, and we'll try to help promote this thing, because I'll tell you what, if you've for our followers that have never seen a true Volkswagen high horsepower event, oh my God, it is something to see.
It is.
And
do y'all do like broadcasting like a
remote broadcast from your facility?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
we sure do. And Mr. Mars is the one that would coordinate.
Cool.
That would be cool, because as long as there's an internet line and some electricity out there, by golly, we can do it. So you just let us know. We'll be up there.
And you got to have a porta potty.
Fun. We'd love to do that.
Well, let's talk about it.
They have running water.
And porta potties, I assume.
Outdoor plumbing. There you go.
It. Clint, it's great to talk to you, my friend. You take care of yourself. And
yes, sir.
If we don't talk to you beforehand, have a Merry Christmas.
Hey, you too, buddy.
All right.
Good talking to you guys.
Thanks so much. Clint Cox, VW Drag Star.
Yeah, I've spoken.
Spokesperson for the Crash Dummies Car Club.
Pop
All right.
their Facebook page.
Time now for This Week in Auto History. We love this segment. Conrad always does it, and it's your turn, sir.
In 1911 this week, a spot of English tea.
Oh.
The English Model T, Ford began in intercontinental production on this week of the first English Ford Model T left the factory in Trafford Park, Manchester, England. The first Ford assembly plant outside of North America. 3 years after production started here, Britain received its first moving assembly line at that plant, allowing the factory to pump out more than 20 Ford Model T cars per hour. The good news is they didn't have Lucas wiring on them, so they all ran. And then 1954 this week, the Ford Thunderbird begins its sales. On the heel of the debut of the Chevrolet Corvette of January 1953, Ford unveiled the concept for the Thunderbird for public use 1 month later. Engineers scrambled hard to take it from concept to production in less than a year after introducing the car. The Ford Thunderbird wowed the public at the Detroit Auto Show in 1954 and then began production October of 1954. In 1975, American stuntman Evel Knievel landed the longest motorcycle jump of his daredevil career. You know, you got to watch him jump 14 buses, clearing 133 feet over 14 Greyhound buses. The jump occurred at Kings Island near Cincinnati, Ohio. Throughout his career, Daredevil Evel Knievel jumped a Harley-Davidson motorcycle more than 75 times. Well, I think he attempted more than 75 times. I think he stuffed it a few times in the middle of there, too. Flying through the air ramp to ramp.
Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, well, that's the I remember watching that one. That one ended up bad. In his profession, he had 433 bone fractures, not all at once, but over time. And it earned him a Guinness Book of World Records for the most broken bones in a lifetime.
Ouch.
But I remember, that was ABC Wide World of Sports. That they always had whatever the Evel Knievel jump
in slow motion.
Yeah,
the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
That's got the ski jumper boy getting hit in the ribs. Oh man!
And then in this week in 1975, John DeLorean founded DeLorean Motor Cars, not with a flux capacitor, but John founded DeLorean Motor Company this week. His company built one single model, the DMC-12, which first appeared as a prototype in October of 1976. DMC began production in 1981 and closed up shop just 2 years later. Although the original design called for a mid-engine, the production car actually had a rear-mounted Peugeot, Renault, Volvo fuel-injected V6 that was anemic, to say the least.
Well, that car's got nice lines.
Yeah, beautiful car, but way, way underpowered. But it would, what made it famous was the Back to the Future franchise movie. And then in 1980, the last International Harvester Scout was produced.
I hope it wasn't that one with that cattle
guard on the front of it.
Yeah.
And this surprised me. I didn't realize that International ultimately built 532,000 Scouts through the two-decade production run. I had no idea that they had built that many of those.
I need to get some recalls in here, if you don't mind.
And then in 1999, Mr. Bean crashes his McLaren
So he does
F1.
another one anyway.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Back to you, Don.
Oh, thanks a lot. Left me no
He
time
does mind.
whatsoever. Yeah. Toyota Motor on Thursday said it's recalling about 1 million Highlander large crossovers globally because of an issue that might cause areas of the front bumper to come loose. The subject vehicles are equipped with a resin lower front bumper cover assembly connected with mounting tabs. Toyota said in a news release, if there is a minor impact to the lower front bumper cover assembly that causes the mounting tabs to detach from the vehicle during normal operation, one or more parts of this assembly could detach, which could become a road hazard, increasing the risk of a crash or injury for other road users, including your own tires in the back. To fix the issue, dealers will inspect the mounting tabs and slots for damage. If no damage is found, dealers will install retention hardware with an improved design. Otherwise, dealers will replace the bumper covers and install the improved retention hardware. Why didn't they do this from the factory from the beginning?
Don't know.
Tesla Model X, failure to detect low brake fluid. Windshield not sealed properly on the Cadillac XT5 for 2024. And also the XT6 and the Acadia. Lyric from Cadillac, missing pedestrian warning sounds.
Oh, no.
Oh, I know what that sound is.
No.
That's the pedestrian warning.
That's you. That's you sounding that way. Ford Mustang Mach-E high voltage battery contactor may overheat, causing a
Thermal event.
Inoperative defrosting defogger system. Ford F-150 Lightning for 2023. And finally, the pedestrian alert siren not connected for the Alfa Romeo Toenail and the Dodge Hornet.
So does it say get out of the way in Italian? Hey,
Tony.
forget about it. Get out of the way.
Tony.
All right, time now for a quick break. We'll be right back here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Stay with us.
Tailpipes and Tacos is back. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, and it's an extra special one. Bring your Hot Rod Classic or Modern Classic to compete for one of the famous Chili Pepper trophies and get a free breakfast taco. Just make a donation of any size to God's Garage and Lupi's will match it. You'll be helping single mothers who need a set of wheels. It's been almost a year in the making, so you won't want to miss Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate what you want to God's Garage, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy at 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's car show season, and what better way to kick it off than a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Proceeds benefit God's Garage.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you will find on GM parts plus transmissions and engines. Over $25 million in parts and powertrain inventory and customer service that will be not matched by anyone in the country. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance, whether you are a drag racer, an oval track racer, a hot rodder, it matters not. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance will have the best price in the country, the best customer service, and the best delivery times that you will find on your GM parts. It can be on your dock, at your front door in a matter of days. It's Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, and customer service to boot. Contact our Texas team, Gina Shile-Knowles at 713-907-0906 or Rodney Rodriguez at 512-300-4445. You will not find better service or better inventory in the country. Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance.
Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we're going to talk to Shay Manowar with the Anderson Economic Group about the ongoing UAW strike. Jeff has a segment on the 7 most unreliable cars.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Conrad has the racing calendar and the car clinic, and later we have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. It's just ahead on this segment of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, matching green shirts from King Conrad DeLong. We have the Pumpkin Spice Kid. We need more, Jeff Zekin.
Pumpkin Spice Kid.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Thanksgiving show for 20.
Thanks. Halloween.
Jumping ahead a little bit, aren't you, Don?
It's not Thanksgiving?
No.
No, see, Thanksgiving we have a turkey
Well, you know,
instead of
they
ghosts.
He sees the pumpkin.
We can have birds. There's
we
a
would-
bird on the. On
You're
that.
stretching. You're
we
reaching.
would-
Well, what about the ghost over there?
That's
Well, yeah. Boo.
Hey, babe, boo. We
It's
would
the
be at
Halloween show,
Autorama.
and I was jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I think pumpkin spice, and I think Thanksgiving. I don't
I
think
got you. It makes we'll let you
that's
that.
where my sick brain goes.
Kona.
It's the Christmas tree show.
That's coming up.
Kona.
All right.
Squirrel.
Joining us now, Shay Manowar, Anderson Economic Group. Shay, good to talk to you. Good to have you with us this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me back.
bet.
It's gonna be great, and then so good to see you guys about to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
I must say this: turkeys might be thinking this is Halloween.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Then they know the end is near.
Touche.
And they're scared.
Yeah, they are.
Scared.
So Shay, we're talking to you today about the UAW strike that appears that it may be coming to a close. All the details aren't in yet. 25% pay hike for all of those involved with the United Auto Workers. And, of course, all got to be ironed out, spelled out, and then approved by the auto workers.
Voted on, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen is my gut feeling on that. But all the damage that's been done over the past 5 weeks, 6 weeks, it's pretty extensive.
Yeah, I think you chose the right word, extensive. It has been an extended strike. I mean, 6 weeks this past Friday. So that is probably a day extra compared to the GM strike in 2019. GM strike lasted nearly 6 weeks. And then when we're looking at the economic losses as of the end of the 5th week, we were looking at nearly 9.3 billion in total economic losses. That also includes wage loss, suppliers loss, losses to OEMs, as well as industry losses, such as impact on the dealerships and consumers like you and I.
I was going to say, how does that affect the general guy walking down the street?
So you can look at it from different perspectives. If you look at the footprint of this strike, it's not just concentrated in one state, one region. It has spread across the country in the past 6 weeks. What that means is if you have workers losing jobs, if there are layoffs, and if there are any individuals even on pay strike, the ability to spend on consumer goods, it tends to affect. So hence, if there are any retailers or small mom and pop shops relying on those industry clusters around those plants, I mean, they might have seen some decline in foot traffic, and you're looking at households trying to figure out if their budget constraints might look different during the strike and even after.
Well, we have a huge assembly plant in Arlington. Matter of fact, General Motors just mentioned here in the past year that they're going to spend over $1 billion in expansion of that plant. And there are a lot of people that work at that plant. 5,000.
5,000, yeah.
About 5,000 people. And chances are that there is somebody that watches this show in the state of Texas that probably knows somebody or somebody related to those folks. And, going from whatever wage they made to $500 a week, it's, that's significant. And how is it going to affect their Christmas? So now that plant went on strike a couple of weeks ago.
Even though the strike's over, there's a long-term effect of that loss of income as we go into the Christmas season. See, you've jumped from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Christmas already, yeah.
You're moving quick.
I am moving quick, like this show does. But it's a lot, and we don't really think of it, that doesn't affect me. Yes, it does. Somewhere down the line, it does affect you because it affects those people. The auto industry is massive. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely massive. Do you know somebody that doesn't own a car? I don't think that I do. That relies on mass transportation here in the Houston area? No, I don't. Maybe in New York, okay, I get that because they have an infrastructure there that really depends more, I think, on the mass transit.
Well, and one of the areas I see the impact, because I do, I'm a claims adjuster now for an aftermarket warranty company, is the unavailability of parts to fix people's cars because of the strike and the plants that were selected by the UAW.
Well, to that end, there's even parts that have not recovered from the pandemic.
Right.
And,
and some of those tier 2, tier 3 suppliers that just for 6 weeks of this auto strike are going to go out of business and will never come back. And some of those parts may never be available again because of the proprietary nature of what they were building. It's going to have a lasting effect.
Yeah. So, I guess the point of this is the fact that this is going to go on, even though the strike may be coming to an end and it finally will be ratified and everybody goes back to work, that we're going to feel the effects of this for months to come.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you guys mentioned a few things. You mentioned pandemic, because let's not forget it was just a few years ago. Soon after pandemic, the entire auto industry went into a supply chain hurdles, or you can call it disruption. I remember walking around the Lansing area where I live. There were thousands of GM cars parked because in the parking lot, empty parking lot, cars were parked on campus because there were not enough semiconductor chips to complete the product. That impacted the dealership's ability to sell vehicles to their customers. And when that did not happen, we saw an impact on the sticker price. The average transaction price just went up from nearly $38,000 per new car to nearly 50. Now I think it's touching 48, 49 nowadays.
Yes. Yes.
So at some point when you mentioned, yes, there's a small term effect on wages, small term effect on households that are going through this event, which is the strike. But then the long term impact would eventually be felt by many of a typical American who may not even live closer to these affected plants, solely because how, as you mentioned, the auto industry, which is a massive industry, and it's also pretty competitive. Let's not forget that we are not looking at the entire industry. We are looking at 3 legacy U.S. OEMs that are supposed to be competing with brands such as Toyota, Hyundai, Honda, Kia. And then in the midst of this entire strike, we are supposedly in an EV transition. We are supposed to be, the U.S. companies are supposed to be making more EVs. They're supposed to be making EVs that are willing buyers are looking at, and then they want to buy those compared to Hondas or Teslas. But then when we are not focusing on the EV transition the way we're supposed to, we are looking at losing competitive edge. We saw that.
And if you think they lost money for the strike, here, hold my beer. Watch how much money we're about to lose doing EVs, because I think that's going to be a greater financial loss.
I wrote down a couple of things. I think there's going to be a strike hangover, or sort of like a buyer's remorse going on with these workers that voted for this or will vote for it. I'm thinking that they've all got to go back to work now, and they're all contemplating and thinking, I've got this great contract. Is it really worth it? Is it really going to benefit me? I think there's going to be some backlash, maybe a year 14, 2 years down the road, that it really wasn't a good idea.
Well, the other thing, and let me just mention this too, the tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers, they are going to have to now compete amongst themselves for workers, because if you make a widget and I make a widget and I pay Conrad an extra $1 an hour, may not sound like a lot, but think about it.
Yeah,
Over the time.
Lots of people are going to go for that dollar.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of jumping.
Yeah, a lot of jumping.
So, Shay, taking that a little bit further, and I was looking through some of that. We got a ton of information from y'all about the workers and the fact they've been out on 6 weeks now. You know, I'm from East Texas. We've had some nasty strikes over there, last over a year, shootings on the picket lines. We've had all kinds of stuff over the years. And I've got an opinion, but I'm asking you from your perspective, are these workers really going to get value? Are they going to be ahead of the game because of what they've lost?
The loss for 6
versus
weeks
what
and
they're
what they
Yeah,
gained.
the buyer's remorse. Yeah.
That is actually a very good question. Are they going to gain? Some workers might, yes, but many may not have any clear directions as to what is stored ahead. I mean, as of right now, we know that there is some contractual bargaining going on. Yes, we know that they're pushing for higher wages, and then yes, they might get it. But then we also have to factor in the inflation and the rising cost of living. Is that going to impact a typical worker's ability to buy and spend more? That is a big question. At the end of the day, are you able to save enough for your next generation, for a college fund? Are you able to spend enough money on vacationing? Are you able to buy big ticket items such as vehicles and able to afford mortgages? But let's look at the interest rates. So I think when we look at the economic side of it, just because your ability to earn a little more goes up, that doesn't mean your ability to spend and consume improves.
Goes up
You're
proportionately.
looking at a lot deeper than I was. I was just looking at it and saying, okay, these guys just lost 6 weeks of wages. How long is it going to take their new contract to make up for that and then for actually to see an improvement?
Well, here's the other caveat on all of this, and to bring it really home, let's look at the suppliers. Conrad mentioned the fact that they've got the manufacturers really don't manufacture anything for the most part. They're assemblers,
Assemble.
Right.
And so they depend on their suppliers to supply them with the parts that they put together to make a car. How does that affect me locally? Well, first of all, they haven't been making cars for 6 weeks for the most part, and we'll just use that as an example. Okay, so what about that dealership that is depending on that particular model to get them through the next month or two, and they don't have that ability to do that because they can't get the car. The car's not being built.
Yeah, but days supply has been pretty strong, but I think there's going to be an air bubble in the pipe from this 6 weeks that's going to have an impact on that days supply. But right now, I think that I think still GM Stellantis are 60 days supply.
But that's the overall, because they make more than one model of car.
Right.
And there's going to be that one plant that was shut down during this
Silverado, Ram 1500, Ford F-150, because those were the ones, UAW chose those for a reason, because those are the high profit margin assembly
and those are the
plants.
factories, for the most part, that are running 2 and 3 shifts.
Right.
And if I can add, let's not forget brand loyalty. I'm gonna remember that EV. We have some issues with the EV transition, but let's not forget that brand loyalty and consumer perception, it matters so much when you're trying to launch something which you haven't launched. You're trying to sell something you haven't sold enough, and you're looking at few extremely well-oiled competitors such as Tesla or other brands who do not have to worry about unions or ensuring that products are built inland. I mean, we're looking at some import brand as competition in the next few years, and then the question is, are we ready for that? And are you ready to influence the brand loyalty again the way we did many decades ago? Because when we look at the data, I mentioned that last time, to look at the data, I do not see the U.S. automakers at the top 5 consistently. There's always a threat when it comes to market shares. And then we see that shifting every time there's a major event. It shifted again. It shifted in the favor of Hyundai and Kia the moment they improved their brand in the past few years. And they are capturing market shares from Honda, from Ford, from Chevy. But the moment any of these import brands are able to launch EVs that people are willing to buy and they find it a little cheaper than Fords or Chevys, guess what? You would have to figure out we have to figure out some ways to fulfill those aggressive promises that they made in the past couple of years. And I see that as a concern because we have made some aggressive timeline as well as goals. And I realize that going into election year, people do remember those promises, and then they might hold some of these public officials, including CEOs, accountable in case if they're not able to see that plan, being able to produce batteries or electric vehicles and then offer new jobs in the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, one of the things that I mentioned here in the last hour of our show, now that the price of the cars for the UAW built vehicles are going to go up as they would with anything else, that you're going to raise their prices, their rate
cost
for 25% increase in pay. Now you're going to raise the price of those UAW built cars, and in some cases they're going to be in competition with $100,000, say, Mercedes-Benz, as opposed to the $100,000 Chevrolet Suburban. Which one am I going to buy? I got the $100,000. I get that. But is it time for me to switch over to Mercedes-Benz? I think that there's going to be some of that's going to occur. Don't you?
I'll still buy Chevy.
So, based on the data that you guys,
that repair cost too.
Well, there is that.
But based on the data that you're looking at, what do you guys perceive the increase in the cost of vehicles is going to be over this new UAW contract that's being proposed right now?
To be honest, it's hard to tell. I mean, it will take. The good thing is, in the past 6 weeks, we looked at more data, and then we will start seeing more data in the next few weeks and maybe months, and then and then we will be able to have a better understanding of how much of a cost shift would occur in the next couple of quarters.
Yeah.
At this time, it's pretty raw. I mean, we're still looking at an ongoing strike. I mean, it hasn't ended yet officially. So maybe in the next couple of months, the next quarter, we would know. And especially if we notice any decline in consumer appetite to buy new vehicles come the Christmas time, because next few months, and especially
interest rates and all that. Yeah.
So the Fain is the president of the UAW. When is his contract up? When does he get voted out or to extend his presidency? Because there's going to be some people that are saying, "Man, we didn't really get what we wanted. It's all his fault." Whatever the case. When is his up?
So I noted that you can be on public opinion's good side for a bit, but once the fatigue factor kicks in, and when you will notice an average consumer's ability to spend the way he or she wanted to, if it starts getting impacted, I mean, that's human nature. We do tend to find scapegoats, and most of the times those in prominence, for instance, Sean Fain here, he might be in the hot seat right now, but come few months down the road, you might see people finger pointing. So that's my anticipation. I've not seen his contract. I don't want to see his contract. At the end of the day, if it impacts whatever has happened in the past 6 weeks, if it impacts the auto industry, that's what we quantify. That's what we look at. Right. And I have said that numerous times since 2020. Every year there has been a disruption.
And you mentioned, I know we're running out of time, but you mentioned that like Hyundai and Kia had an event and they've taken some shares. Is that why? Can you do that real quick, or do I need to wait till the next time we talk? I mean, you mentioned that that's too long. We're running out of time. My bad. I'm gonna invite you back so I can ask you that question.
Well, you've already asked it, so let him finish. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just, in a nutshell, if people like you, they will buy what you're selling. If they like what Kia and Hyundai are putting in a car, if they look nice, their logos have changed, people would buy it.
Yeah, so
At
the
the
brand
end of the day,
loyalty goes out the window.
Yep, emotions create emotions, and we have to create positive emotions amongst the U.S. automakers.
That I
has happened
understand.
in the last 6
Shay, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's talk at the end of the first quarter of 2024, shall we?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Anderson Economic Group.
Great
Shay
information.
Manley.
Yeah, always
All right.
good stuff.
Time now for the In-Wheel Time race card, sponsored by Texas Nostalgia Modified Production.
Well, NHRA is coming to an end, or the NHRA season is coming to an end. So they are in Las Vegas this weekend. And then the Pomona Finals is November 9th through the 12th, and that'll be the end of the season. So be interesting to see, can Erica continue her winning ways?
Absolutely.
And pull off her
Keeping our fingers crossed.
sixth world championship.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Pro stock.
Yeah.
And, I think it'll happen. My question is, what are they going to switch to? Because think about it, Camaro goes out of production. I
don't think that they're going to switch. I think that they're going to stay with the Camaro for next year. Yeah.
Oh, see, and I've been kind of looking at all the effort they're putting in Quadra's Mustangs, thinking that may be a transition car for them, is switching over. Though when she switched over to Chrysler, that didn't work real well.
No.
So anyhow, also NASCAR is at Martinsville this weekend. They're in Phoenix for the finale, November 5th. Circuit of the Americas had, I thought, a decent race at COTA. Some controversy
I didn't
in it
watch
as well.
all of it. I just got bored about
Yeah,
it.
Hamilton was disqualified.
Of course he was.
Yeah. A couple of drivers were because of the skid plate on the bottom of the car.
The ride height was a mess. And then, so they are in Mexico City this weekend. They're in Brazil on the 5th of November.
Ooh la la.
They're in Las Vegas on the 19th of November, which should be pretty cool. That's
We're going to run it down the strip.
yeah. Well, I've talked to a couple of people in Las Vegas, and they have been under construction, resurfacing all of those roads since the announcement of the of the run. So it's been a bit of a mess there, but I think that's going to be a pretty cool race, the way that they're going to run it, right down the front of the Bellagio. And then Abu Dhabi is the 26th of November. And that's it for the race car.
All right. Thank you very much. Jeff's got a segment that we've been kind of all looking forward to.
Well,
and it's called the Top 7 Most Unreliable Cars.
I wonder how many of them were built by the UAW.
What this is this is a Consumer Report survey, and they've got other cars listed in there as well beyond the top 7. But I took 7, and this is what we have, and these are all based on reliability. The score that Consumer Reports does is 0 to 100. So these cars are all rated 0 to 100. And our first one is a GMC product. GMC is a brand that suffered a terrible 2 out of 10 score through Consumer Reports for the Yukon and scored 11 out of 100. Did I say 10? 2 out of 100, and then 11 out of 100 for the Sierra 1500.
Oh my God.
So this is all based
11 out of 100.
11
That
out
kind
of
of borders on the you suck level.
Yeah, but
Is
wait.
there an award for that?
I don't know, but wait, there's more.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Number 6 on this list is everyone's favorite, Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes scores 2 positions worse this year than last year, with the GLE being its least reliable model in the Consumer Reports survey. So that, and Don, always has the Mercedes-Benz recalls, and there go pages upon pages. So yeah, it doesn't give the actual number, but it does say it dropped from last year's numbers. Yeah. And here's another favorite, Volkswagen, number 5. None of the 4 VW models, the Jetta, the Atlas, the ID4, and the Tiguan, scored above 50 points out of 100. But the Tiguan was the worst at just 17 points.
What Leslie just buy?
Oh, no.
I wonder if she's listening.
I was going to skip that one. Sorry, Leslie. It's a pretty car. It's
It is.
pretty in the shop, too. It's, the way they record it. out of the 100. The next one is Genesis.
I believe this one.
Hyundai's luxury brand had just 2 models represented in the Consumer Reports study, while the G70 scored 55 points out of 100. Not bad. The GV80 scored just 5 points out of 100.
Well, first of all, the grill overpowers the front end, so
Yeah, it is
that
a-
needs to go.
And they are one of the most god-awful things to repair.
Screen door in a submarine. That's what that looks like. And number 3 in our list today would be the Jeep. Though the Jeep Cherokee, Wrangler, and Gladiator are able to get you off the beaten path at no problem, they can also land you in the shop with reliability scores of 30 for the Cherokee, 25 for the Wrangler, and 23 for the Gladiator.
That's why they all come equipped with tow hooks.
Oh, and winches. Got to have winches. Here's one that I didn't expect to be on the list. It is number 2, and it is the Tesla.
I've heard this.
Yes, the Tesla Model 3 EV scored the best of the brand with 59 points, but the Model S, the Y, and the X scored 20 for the S, 18 for the Y, and 5 points for the X. Now, the
But what
X-
can go wrong with it other than the motor?
There's no oil leaks, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it's all of the, from what I hear, it's the trim fit, the onboard electronics and stuff are not just confusing.
And it could be the
but
battery
faulty.
issues too.
Yeah.
A lot of battery issues, but it retains its
Like
position.
a high-tech Yugo.
Yeah, as the list of the second least reliable brand. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. Number 1 on this list is Lincoln. Ford's luxury brand Lincoln retains the dubious honor, Mike, you know that word, of being the least reliable, with the Aviator being the most egregious offender.
Like being shot in the back of the head.
It's a shame, as Lincoln does make some really good quality products and other lines of it. They are enjoyable vehicles, but in this case, through Consumer Reports, they're number 1 on the least favorable. So, yeah, there you go.
It's good to be known for something, but this isn't something I need to be known for.
Exactly.
Hey, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com when it works. Podcasts at your fingertips and over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Tailpipes and Tacos is back. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, and it's an extra special one. Bring your Hot Rod Classic or Modern Classic to compete for one of the famous Chili Pepper trophies and get a free breakfast taco. Just make a donation of any size to God's Garage and Lupi's will match it. You'll be helping single mothers who need a set of wheels. It's been almost a year in the making, so you won't want to miss Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate what you want to God's Garage, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy at 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's car show season, and what better way to kick it off than a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Proceeds benefit God's Garage.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you will find on GM parts plus transmissions and engines. Over $25 million in parts and powertrain inventory and customer service that will be not matched by anyone in the country. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance, whether you are a drag racer, an oval track racer, a hot rodder, it matters not. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance will have the best price in the country, the best customer service, and the best delivery times that you will find on your GM parts. It can be on your dock, at your front door in a matter of days. It's Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, and customer service to boot. Contact our Texas team, Gina Scheil knows at 713-907-0906 or Rodney Rodriguez at 512-300-4445. You will not find better service or better inventory in the country. Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance.
Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
We're doing cruises.
Pardon me. Did I interrupt the conversation over
No,
there?
you're good.
Actually,
You're good.
you
You're
did.
good.
Thank you very much. But go ahead. Carry on.
I think we do events this period.
Segment.
No, we do the car clinic.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Hey, were you out to lunch when you got the?
No,
ticket
but Robert Hemmer was mentioning the Northside Mustang Club is having their fall open car show.
Can I do the open to the show before we get into this?
Sure. Well, you asked the question.
No, but you interrupted me.
You were talking when he was trying.
Just trying to answer your question.
From the Sugar Shack Studios, it is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, even though we're a little ticked off. Conrad has the In Wheel Time. No, scratch the car clinic. We're not going to do that. We'll also have this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars.
Maybe.
And we
I'm
need
not
more
sure.
Jeff Zeke, and I'm Don Armstrong.
Ooh, blew right by him.
Sorry.
He's used to that.
You know, he doesn't pay attention to the clock on the wall, which we try to go by to kind of keep some consistency.
It's
Well,
a big clock, too.
It is a big clock.
He
I'm
doesn't
gonna
read.
try-
He doesn't read email.
No, he doesn't read
Can't
email.
tell time.
He doesn't post anything on Facebook anymore, except when he gets in trouble or something. I don't know what happened. Well, you kind of gone off the track. What's going on?
He's going on strike.
Are you going? Is that what it is? Probably so.
He wants his
I want
44%.
Spain to negotiate for me.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Anyway, welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. The not Thanksgiving, but the Halloween
Oh,
edition.
no, Easter. We're doing
Easter
the Easter
edition.
show.
We're going to keep moving it along.
Valentine's Day.
Eggs in the refrigerator out there. We're good.
Yeah. It's been one of those kind of mornings. It's kind of been disconnected, but in a fun,
Having
lighthearted
fun.
way.
We're here.
We are here. You know what the problem is? We all prepped by getting here early, and we had an hour to kill, actually an hour and a half to kill.
It was a
Because
quick setup.
We
It was.
reset the entire studio.
Well, the decorations were done last night.
They
Yeah,
were.
that's
They
true.
were.
That's true.
But we reset the
And
mechanical
such
part
wonderful
of this.
decorations
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
such
Kathy
wonderful
and-
women.
and
That's
Leslie,
right.
Yep.
Yep. Leslie and Kathy.
The In-Wheel Time Ladies Auxiliary came in.
Very nice. Yes, that's true.
They had their little vests and their patches on.
Yeah, though those were their, yeah, the vests.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. With all the patches on there.
And their little like wartime helmets. These,
So were you invested?
I was invested.
Mike, I don't
I don't know what he's
what are you drinking over there? You're drinking something.
drinking.
Oh,
Conrad's,
I wish I was.
Conrad's Happy Juice over there.
All right, so here's what I thought we would do today. And I prepared this just for this. I
Okay.
got this off of the Corvette forum, of which I
Oh,
am
this
a
is
member.
going to be good. I
Yeah.
know this is
All
going
right.
to be good.
Now these are Corvette
Get yourself
things,
something to drink.
But
It's gonna
as
be
I
good.
said early on, in kind of in a preparatory mode, that you can probably relate some of these things in a different way to cars that you liked. You, Oldsmobile. Jeffrey, Cadillac.
Yep.
Mars, Studebakers.
Robert Hemmer, Mustangs.
There you go.
Randy
So
Weldon.
this is from the Corvette forum. The dictionary definition of a cliche is a phrase or opinion that is overused and betrays a lack of original thought, kind of like this show. In the Corvette world, we have all heard many examples of these. It, of course, extends beyond just Corvettes to car culture in general. So, the Corvette Forum thought that they needed the 10 most annoying cliches that keep seeing and hearing over and over again on the Corvette Forum. They're on a campaign to eradicate these, but The forum needs your help. Please help educate anyone you hear perpetuate these tired and overused sayings and beliefs.
And stop posting them on the Corvette forum.
Yeah.
Number 10.
All right.
Corvette is a midlife crisis car.
Wait, what was your midlife crisis? When did you buy how old were you when you bought your Corvette?
My first Corvette, I was 26.
So that's
and
not
that wasn't midlife
No.
because you're way more than 26 now.
How many times have you heard this phrase? There are plenty of people that buy Corvettes when they are younger and plenty who buy them when they are older. The fact is, most people buy them because they actually like the Corvette. It has nothing to do with the stage of life they're in or the fact that they're going through some sort of crisis. The folks that say this cliche are typically just jealous of the Corvette
Yeah,
owner.
the
I'd
young,
buy into that.
The younger ones was for a reason. You know, they're young and
Girls.
you want, yeah. And the older ones is now you have the means to buy it.
Well, I haven't got old enough then because I still can't afford one.
Number 9, real enthusiasts drive only manual transmissions.
And what's your car, Don?
It's a manual transmission.
There you go.
Proof.
The next one I buy, if I'm still alive to buy one, is not going to be a manual transmission.
I've seen
By
a lot
paddle
of
shifter.
newer manuals coming out and women drivers on them too.
Sure, we all love manual transmission. It does offer more involvement with the car and enhances the driving experience for most, but some folks take the dedication to a manual transmission a little too far. 30 years ago, automatic transmission cars were not just less involving, they were slower, more expensive, and less fuel efficient as well. That is typically no longer the case, especially with the new dual clutch transmissions. You can be a real car enthusiast and drive an automatic transmission car. Amen to that. Not all cars, but the new Corvette in particular, and the C7 for most of its appearance.
With the DSG.
Number 8, every sports car must be a track weapon.
No, I don't agree with that.
Some people get obsessed over Nürburgring lap times and how much downforce the rear wing can generate and so on. While those stats may make for interesting conversations with your buddies in the bar, in the real world, that is all basically meaningless. A sports car is not necessarily better just because it sets a faster lap time. The vast majority of drivers will never take their car on a track anyway, and those that do will not be able to match the lap times of the professional drivers.
You're correct.
On top of that, cars with the hottest or best lap times are typically less enjoyable on the road, which is where the car will spend most of its time.
Yeah.
Amen.
Stiffer suspensions,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, and the rear wing means nothing. You know, think about how many big rear wings are on a 2015 Honda Civic.
Well, they're easier to push.
Man,
It makes
and
it
at 30
easier to
miles
push.
an
It's like
hour,
a
yeah.
handle.
Yeah.
Number 7, a Corvette owner cannot afford a Porsche.
Don't want
No, man.
Don't
Now, that's where the uppity comes in.
You only bought a Corvette because you can't afford a Porsche. But of all of the cliches on this list, this one may be the dumbest. First of all, who cares about what you can or can't afford? Do people say that that is a nice 4,000 square foot house you bought?
Yeah.
You only bought it because you can't afford a 5,000 foot house. And is the saying, can only afford a 6-figure Corvette, supposed to be some sort of an insult? There are plenty of Corvette owners can afford to buy whatever they want, but they choose the Corvette because that is what they like. This is another cliche that is typically said by jealous haters driving around in a clapped-out Civic.
Subaru
Correct,
Outback
correct.
champagne color.
It's kind of like having 3 wives instead of 4.
You know,
What's on the next list? What's the next list?
we wanted to slap him in the last segment. Now it's up to you. Would you go ahead and slap
It's
him?
not going to do any good.
Mars shared that thought with me. I just
Shut up,
verbalized it.
Mars.
Wow. Are you eating chocolate down there? He's all wound up. He's got the chocolate in front of him.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, God. Okay, here is number 6. Calling the Corvette the plastic fantastic. I've heard that. That's so stupid.
Really? I've
Well,
never
it
This
heard
one
is.
that.
just makes our skin crawl. Yes, the Corvette came out in 53 with a fiberglass body, and some began to call the Corvette the Plastic Fantastic because of it. And still today, there are Corvette shows that are called the Plastic Fantastic Show. Part of the Corvette lexicon. But it has also become so overused that it is time to retire the phrase for good. Plastic fantastic might be a fine phrase to use when referring to a children's toy, but you're really going to call a C8 Z06 a plastic fantastic? That is demeaning to the car. Please stop using it.
But it is
Five.
a fantastic car.
Five.
I just never heard that.
Well, you know,
Neither
and they
have I.
stopped using fiberglass decades ago. They're basically plastic. That's what they are. And there's so many plastic
Composites.
cars. Yes, on every car made these days. How do you not call it plastic? You bought a sports car just to show off. This is number 5.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, most people buy sports cars because they like sports cars. Has nothing to do with showing off. Is there someone out there that maybe bought one to strut around town and feel like a big deal? Sure. But those folks are far and far between. I think it said few and far between. Most folks buy the car because they like it. And for the few that bought it to show off, you got bad news. Most people really don't give a crap about your car. They're not impressed.
Yeah, like there's a reason to own a Bentley convertible, other than
I believe, doesn't Sheila own one of those?
that wasn't my purpose of saying.
But
that.
then why did you say it?
Well,
Because you know that she's
'cause I was-
listening.
'cause I was thinking
Now you've
of-
insulted her.
Yeah.
Sorry,
4.
but she also races a Nova.
More
That's
power is always better. There's nothing wrong with horsepower, don't get me wrong, but this is another stat that people tend to spend too much effort obsessing over. Is the new ZR1 going to make 800 horsepower, 900, 1,000? Honestly, does it really matter? The car's going to be fast. We know that. In fact, it will probably be too fast to really be able to enjoy on the street. Once a sports car is making about 500 horsepower, everything else over that tends to be overkill for street driving.
I agree. Yeah,
I
I agree
agree.
with that. Yeah.
I would agree.
Pardon me, but it'll use a cliche to explain this. It's more fun to drive a slow car than a fast car slow. Having 800 horsepower on the street doesn't do you much good when you're stuck behind a minivan going 30.
No, but when you come off the red light and the tires are spinning and leaving puffs of smoke behind it and you shift into second gear, it will continue to leave smoke out.
It'll
there.
generate smoke. Yeah. I think
There's
he's
nothing I can say after that.
I was going to say, Mars, we'll go with that, okay?
The on-ramp acceleration test.
The newest model is always the worst than the older model. This is number 3. Take a sports car that has been around for several generations, like the Corvette, Porsche 911, Mazda Miata, and so on. There's always a group of folks that will hate on the newest generation every single time. They will cry that the older one looked better. The new one is too heavy. The new one has too much technology, and it is too big, and so on and so on. And it is true that in some cases these are valid complaints, but overall, the new car is almost always better than the car it replaced. Give the new cars a chance. They might be different, but they might also be better if you judge them.
Especially
Appropriately, yeah.
especially in the instance of the Corvette, because they do listen to the consumer and they try and adapt that next generation vehicle to meet what the consumer is demanding on it.
And you think that, like, for instance, the new car show that comes to Houston in January that we've been fortunate enough to be invited to over and over again, that if you don't think that there are people there that are listening to what you say about their cars, you are wrong. Because there are factory representatives
Oh, yeah.
there.
Yep.
They may look like product specialists or whatever you want to call them, put a name on them. But that's not their only job. They have to write a report. What did you hear about the Jeep Cherokee this time? And for every car show that they go to, they have to type.
I talked to this many people. This is what I told them. This is what they told me.
Right.
Well, I remember when we went to the Ram event up in Dallas. That was
yeah?
the purpose of the Ram event, was to listen to what the consumer
gather
was saying.
intel on the vehicle.
Because,
It's a good
because
way to say
they had their customers there because they were all driving Ram trucks.
Right.
That was a really good idea to sit there and get them all in one place and hear what they had to say.
Yeah. It's interesting because, Mars and I get to test drive, if you want to call it that, new cars, a different new car every week. And matter of fact, I was 1 week late sending in my Dodge Hornet review to the people that handle all that. And they, hey, listen, Stellantis is really wanting your review. Would you please send it? 2 weeks. was the time it took for me to send it. So they want to know how I review the car. Same for you.
Acapulco
for all of
Gold.
us. Acapulco Gold. So that's it. Anyway, number 2, back to what we were talking about. 0 to 60 times means everything.
No.
A Tesla Model S Plaid can go from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds flat. So therefore, it is the greatest sports car in the world, right?
No.
Of course not. Some folks just live and die by published 0 to 60 times. Is the E-Ray better than the Z06 because it hits 0 to 60 1/10 of a second faster? The average human would not even be able to perceive the difference. On top of that, how many 0 to 60 runs do you do when you go out of the driveway every day?
Mars.
We're all pointing to you.
It's an interesting metric, but largely academic. A sports car is about feel and emotion, and handling and sound. A great sports car is not just about 0 to 60
Yeah,
times.
because there is no sound to an electric car.
Well, not only that, but I mean, I agree with that because, I don't really look at 0 to 60. I look at how long it takes to get across the intersection and what kind of tire noise
Correct.
and smoke you can get out of it.
And you know that I have complained on cars that don't cut the mustard getting across the intersection.
Yeah, you have.
Turbo lag and all the other stuff.
And
These
gear-
are brand new cars that are delivered to the customer that
I
way.
almost-
No!
Gear confusion.
I almost did a
Oh.
segment on the E-Ray. E-Ray, the electric portion of that, because it's a gas and electric, it's hybrid. The front wheel drive is the electric part of it, which I did not know.
Well, wait till I get to my car review. We'll talk
there you
about that.
go.
The Kia Kona.
Segue. Kia Kona.
Number 1, here it is. Not driving the car to keep miles down
Oh,
on
yeah.
it. Guilty. Kind of. But not really.
I don't think you do that. I just think you don't drive the car because you don't have.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
Well, because you get all
Exactly.
the other
There's
cars
no
from
reason
the
to.
manufacturers.
Right. And the fact of the matter is
And that's
it
a
has-
job that you have to do.
in the 6 years that I've owned the car, I've put twice as many miles as the car originally had,
Yeah,
which
but
was
you-
16 when I bought it.
But you're using the car like you're supposed to, the way you want to use it on the
Yeah.
road tours, the Sunday afternoon
You bought it
drives.
for.
Yeah.
You're using it for what
Cruises,
you
yeah.
bought it for.
Correct. Okay, so here's their
It's
version.
been in the shop forever.
Not driving the car to keep the miles down. Is there anything sadder than someone buying a special sports car and then letting it rot in the garage because they want to keep the miles low? If you, I get it. If you just bought one car out of a museum, this is 50 years old maybe and has 100 miles on it, that's obviously something you won't drive much. But just about everything else you should drive and enjoy. If you're able to put a new Z06 in your garage, go out and drive the damn thing. We have all limited time here on this earth, and you can't take the car with you. Who cares if you reduce the monetary value of the car a bit because you drive it? The real value in a sports car is the fun you have with it and the time you spend behind the wheel.
we kind of
Amen.
went a little bit through that last weekend with talking to John Hovis out at Hemi Hideout.
Yes.
Because John drives a lot of those cars he has in his collection. Not that he's frustrated, but he kind of fussed a little bit that he hasn't had enough time to drive enough of them lately. I know we all volunteered to
We
drive
did.
any Hemi he had that he wanted to let us drive.
It's bad for a car to sit that long. I mean, you see these guys up north where in the winter they'll park them. Okay, it's going into hibernation. I'm putting it in the garage.
I get that.
Yeah, because
that. But when the springtime hits and the snow thaws and the ice thaws up there,
Get the car out.
get the car out,
Exactly.
drive it around,
That's what
and
you
you're ready
should
to do it.
I used to do that with wheels. I'd take the summer wheels off and put the winter wheels on.
And the studded snow tires.
No, it didn't have that.
no
Well, and think about it too is, how many people have bought that, what was that pace car Corvette, 78 pace car Corvette, and they put them away with all the plastic on them, and then they break them out to sell them at Barrett Jackson, and they make good money on it, but take the time to think about how much did they spend on the car, how much did they spend storing it
Did they really
all
enjoy
these
it?
years. Did they
that's-
enjoy it, and did they really recover
That's just
on investment?
Yeah.
If they're buying it for investment value, it's something different.
Well, I
that-
thought that was a little fun segment.
And that's
that
a
we threw
different
in there.
part of enthusiasm in the cars. One enthusiast wants to sell it, make money. The other enthusiast wants to use it.
Wants to drive
Well,
it.
some people will buy them, particularly like in the Corvettes. They'll buy it and they'll drive it a year or two. Okay, I got that out of my system. I'm ready to go do something else.
Right.
And that's just part of it. Whether it's a Corvette,
And let
or
me
a
tell you
Harley
something.
or-
Even if it sits in the driveway, like mine, It's only got 34,000 miles on it, and it's a 22-year-old car. It still cost me money. I had to spend money to get the electrical problem fixed.
Well, you
on
still
it.
have to
Battery
insure
drain.
it. You still have to insure it. You still got to put gas in it.
So
gotta
buy
buy tires.
Replace
for
the
it.
tires every 6-7 years.
So there's that. All right.
Yeah, it's-
Time to move on. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. And we're still on the fluids. Is this the last of the fluids?
it can be.
Good, because we need to move on.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So we're going to talk this week about transfer case fluid. Now, I realize transfer case is typically four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, but transfer case is that box next to the transmission that pushes power to the front wheels or power to the rear wheels. If your vehicle is typically front-wheel drive, the transfer case box pushes power to the rear wheels. If it's like a pickup truck, the transfer case box is what pushes power to the front wheels. And that fluid needs to be serviced like any other fluid does. Typically, the manufacturer's transfer case fluid is automatic transmission fluid. The question is why? Because now they can reduce the part count or the SKU in the assembly plant by one number, and that's important to them. So now they buy bulk automatic transmission fluid and fill your transfer case with it. I'm not a believer that automatic transmission fluid's the right fluid for a transfer case, because in a transfer case, there's a lot of what's called shearing. As those gears mesh, that fluid has to do its job of clean, cool, and protect. Automatic transmission fluid's pretty thin. So you need to, especially on the OEM stuff, you want to change that. My opinion is you should be changing it about every 40,000, 45,000
Like you would your
miles.
automatic transmission
Like
fluid.
you would your automatic transmission fluid. And if you're using it in four-wheel drive more often, you need to change your fluid more often. And if you back something down the boat ramp, you need to change it more often than that
Yes.
as well, because that top of that transfer case has a little vent in it, and a little bit of water in there can be pretty detrimental to it pretty quick. So there's no question whether transfer case fluid is vital to the overall performance of the vehicle, but it's whether the traditional gear oil or synthetic type fluid that's used is the correct fluid for your vehicle. And there are some very good transfer case fluids that are out there available in the industry that have a higher shear factor, that are going to last longer and do a better job of cool, clean, and protect. So change your transfer case fluid frequently.
All your fluids.
You change all your fluids.
You know, I did that for the first time. I guess it was a couple of years ago now. It cost me $1,000 to do it, but I needed to do it because it never been done on the Corvette.
Change all the fluids.
Yeah.
Yours is more time than mileage, though.
Yes. Oh, but most definitely time. And I'm glad I did. And it's going to be the same thing with my oil change that I got coming up next month. It's my once-a-year oil change because I don't put that many miles on it,
Let's
but I do
celebrate.
it. Use my mobile one. I buy a Wix filter, and here you go. Put that in there, please.
So every Thanksgiving he gets his oil change.
Oil changed.
Pretty much, yeah. That's because I also have to have the inspection sticker, which will be the last year for that, I think. And to get the
You don't need an inspection sticker after 20 years?
you do, but the state of Texas is not going to have that anymore.
By when he needs it.
You won't have to have an inspection
It'll
sticker.
just be part
Oh,
of the
really?
process, Yeah.
Even on my Oldsmobile?
I don't think so.
Oh, good.
Uh-huh. All right, time now for some of the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Beset by glitches with its robo-taxis and the suspension of its deployment and testing permits in its prime market, Cruise pressed the pause button on its driverless operations across the country Thursday night. The operational pause comes 2 days after the California Department of Motor Vehicles suspended Cruise's testing and deployment permits in the wake of an October 2nd pedestrian collision.
And how many billions did they spend?
This week's suspension and operational pause stem from the October 2nd pedestrian crash at the intersection of 5th and Market in San Francisco. The circumstances are complicated. A human-driven car first struck the victim, who remained atop the hood of that car as it drove through the intersection. She then fell off the hood into the path of an oncoming Cruise robotaxi, which ran over her and stopped on top of her.
I know where 5th and Market is, and yeah, she was in the hood.
Isn't that the where the Fisherman's Wharf? Isn't
No,
it?
no, no. 5th and Market is up near Union Square.
At any rate, yeah, the car didn't recognize the fact that there was a human
Somebody
being.
was laying out in the middle of the road.
Well, no, it jumped. The body went from the hood of one car after that driver car hit the woman. She slid off the hood in front of the Robotaxi Cruise vehicle, and then it ran over her before it stopped.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry, but I'm going to say if there was a driver in that other car, probably the exact same thing would have happened. You know, how much time do you have to react? I don't know.
Perhaps. I don't know that
but
either.
Stopping on top of her probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah. With interest rates, rate hikes making new loans more expensive, millions of subprime car owners are struggling to afford their payments. It's a clear indication of distress at a time when the economy is sending mixed signals, particularly about the health of consumer spending. The percent of subprime auto borrowers at least 60 days past due on their loans rose to 6.11% in September, the highest in data going back to 1994, according to Fitch Ratings. For those with the best credit scores, interest rates are about 5.07% for a new car and 7.09% for a used vehicle on average, according to Bankrate. And for those with the worst credit, rates are about 14.8% and 21.38% for new and used cars, respectively, if you've got bad credit. If you could get the loan.
If you can get the loan, right.
This woman in Denver said that with her credit score of 580, she's paying an interest rate of 13.58% on her 2019 Honda Ridgeline truck. The expense comes out to roughly $700 a month for the loan and insurance. That is on a used car. The 28-year-old makes $17.50 an hour at Costco, so she's struggling to make her car payment along with her rent, all while she tries to pay down the more than $20,000 in credit card debt.
Yikes.
And that's not the car's fault.
No,
it's not
the dealer's fault either.
It's the lender's fault for hanging her out to dry, by putting her in something.
But they're out to make money, too.
And they don't want to be caught like they during the Clinton years with the housing bubble.
Right. Well, and that's probably going to happen. You think about how high used car values have been during and after the pandemic, and all those people were stuffed in those cars. Mm-hmm. Now they're trying to figure out, how do I get out of the bottom of it? Because I'm sure most of them are way, way upside down in their cars as values have kind of normalized to a degree.
Yep.
Yeah. So beware and be wary. Just saying. Time now for a quick break. You are on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, and thank you for being with us. We got another hour coming right up.
Tailpipes and Tacos is back. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, and it's an extra special one. Bring your Hot Rod Classic or Modern Classic to compete for one of the famous Chili Pepper trophies and get a free breakfast taco. Just make a donation of any size to God's Garage and Lupi's will match it. You'll be helping single mothers who need a set of wheels. It's been almost a year in the making, so you won't want to miss Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate what you want to God's Garage, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy at 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's car show season, and what better way to kick it off than a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Proceeds benefit God's Garage.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you will find on GM parts plus transmissions and engines. Over $25 million in parts and powertrain inventory and customer service that will be not matched by anyone in the country. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance, whether you are a drag racer, an oval track racer, a hot rodder, it matters not. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance will have the best price in the country, the best customer service, and the best delivery times that you will find on your GM parts. It can be on your dock, at your front door in a matter of days. It's Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, and customer service to boot. Contact our Texas team, Gina Shile-Knowles at 713-907-0906 or Rodney Rodriguez at 512-300-4445. You will not find better service or better inventory in the country. Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance.
Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
Yes, friends, it is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we hope to have Julian Mendoza from the Marshall Center for Advanced Careers. We'll have the upcoming events calendar. Mars reviews the Alfa Romeo toenail.
Tonale. It's a tonale.
It's a Canona.
It says here it's a toenail. Tonale.
Tonale. You got to have the tonale.
Jack Nerad's supposed to join us. I say suppose on these guests because we
Well-
don't know, and I'm a little paranoid now because Mars has burnt us on one already.
Oh,
No,
no.
the first one was not my fault. This one is going to be my fault.
I thought you were on strike, Conrad. You left.
Well, at any rate, it's a mess, and we invite you to
We're working on
stay
it.
tuned to the mess to see how messy it really gets. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, who doesn't even raise his hand because he doesn't want to.
Because
be
he's
known.
got his hands are dancing on the keyboard.
Oh, man.
Tickling
Oh,
the
good God.
keys.
He's got dancing hands.
Magic fingers.
We have King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. At least you joined us. None of our guests
Someone
have.
else. 40 countries. Count them.
Well, George says, nice decoration, In Wheel Time team. Too bad you guys look more like the Adams family. So we'll give,
So who would you be on the Adams family? I'll be Lurch.
I can be it.
It.
Cousin
You
it.
got Pugsley down in the end.
And who are you, Jeff?
I'll be
Wednesday.
I'll be
Festus.
Gomez.
Fester.
Festus. There you go.
Fester.
Fester. There you go.
Fester. Yeah.
Fester. He,
Uncle Fester.
he was the most popular, I think.
No doubt. Yes. Jackie Coogan.
Yeah.
How
Well,
did I
no,
remember that?
Jackie Coogan. Yeah, it was Jackie Coogan, wasn't it?
It was.
Okay. Making sure.
Now, why do you remember that?
I don't know. Who remembers Jackie Coogan?
You do.
You do.
Apparently.
But you're also paranoid.
Then Prevagen's kicking in.
I
No.
stopped taking the Prevagen.
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Maybe
do
that's a
any
good thing.
Apparently so. I remember Jackie Coogan's name. Okay, so we don't have a guest yet, and in the meantime and in between time, I
Mars is trying to enter a one-time password, and he didn't have his mouse in the right place.
No, that's for that computer.
Sorry.
Mars has got multiple computers and
He's
cell
got
phones.
things in his ears,
and
all kinds of
dancing
stuff.
fingers.
Somebody asked me not too long ago, what is it that guy in the end down there do?
The guy in the black shirt.
I do all this.
I said, nothing, because he doesn't do anything.
He's our eye candy.
He is our eye candy. Isn't that it, Mars?
That's it.
Okay.
I like it.
So once a week, Hemmings. Are you familiar with Hemmings?
Doing Hemmings is great. All right, got your scorecard? Get your scorecard.
Get the scorecard ready. Okay, so Hemmings puts out this thing. You can sell your car on Hemmings, and it's an online thing. And you put a minimum amount that you'll take for the car, and you may or may not get that. You dropped your...
Yeah, I saw that.
At any rate, so once a week they come out with the cars that have been sold. And so I take this information, and we kind of have a little guessing game as to what we think
They sold for.
that's sold for. And you can do the same thing. Now, we don't have pictures, but you don't need them because you already know what these cars look like. A 1993 Chevrolet Corvette. So this would be a C4.
1993 Corvette. Okay.
Huh?
Okay? This would be a C4. Mine's a C5. Mine's a.
This was the
2000.
last year of the C4 before the C5 because there was no 94 Corvette.
Okay, whatever. It's a 93 Corvette. It looks stock. It's got the stock wheels on it. It's white in color. It is a coupe and not a convertible.
Crossfire fuel injection.
Okay. not the greatest engine in the world, but whatever. A 1993 Chevrolet Corvette sold for, Conrad?
I'll say 14,000.
I'm going to go 17.
Mars is busy. Are you going to join in or
No,
not?
I'm getting Jack unmuted.
Oh, he's there. Okay. Well, it's sold for $9,250. Now, I don't know what the mileage is on it, but
Yeah,
it looks
see,
like
that's-
it's a clean.
this could be a
I know,
factor,
but
yeah.
whatever. And then we have the 1967 Ford Mustang, and it looks kind of like a resto mod or something. It's had some changes to it, but all I can see is the front grille.
30.
Anyway,
30.
Yeah,
Mars says 30. What do you say?
Resto mods, you bring in big money. I'm going to say 40.
Okay,
23.
31.5. You win.
Oh, good.
That would be
Mike.
Mars. Jack, ready?
Yes.
Oh, Jack's ready.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to pause the sold car roundup.
We are men of pause.
We are men of pause. But before we hit the button to Jack, I had this thing that I wanted to read because I know that we know Jack, but I don't know.
We
as
love
if-
Jack.
We do, and but I don't know as if everybody that watches or listens to the show knows about Jack. So I got this off of Amazon. Jack, you can tell me later if it's wrong, but I'm going to read this because I think it's pretty spot on. Jack R. Nerad began his career at 17 as a sports writer for 3 Chicago area newspapers, and he hasn't stopped working since. A prolific writer of true crime and auto-related books, his most recent is Dance in the Dark, a suspense thriller that is inspired by his extensive study of real-life crime. Perhaps his best-known book is Fatal Photographs, the definitive true crime examination of the notorious bathing suit model murder case that rocked Hollywood. Because of its explosive nature, it is now being considered as a potential limited-run streaming series.
Ooh.
In his famous case, the murderer was Nerad's co-worker.
Oh.
I'll have to ask him about that. In a completely different vein, Nerad's latest nonfiction title is The GR Factor, Unleashing the Undeniable Power of the Golden Rule. It outlines a potent philosophy for business and personal success. The former editor of Motor Trend magazine, Nerad is the author of several auto-related titles, including The Complete Idiot's Guide to Buying or Leasing a Car and The Complete Idiot's Guide to Hybrids and Alternative
That's
Fuel
why he
Vehicles.
talks to us.
We see you smiling, Jack. We'll get to you in just a second. Nerad has won numerous awards and honors for his work, including a Maggie nomination for Best Feature Article of the Year, the magazine industry equivalent of an Oscar nomination. The host of the Sports Map Radio Network show, America on the Road, Nerad serves as vice president of the North American Car of the Year jury. He is president of the Motor Press Guild, and he's an active member of Mystery Writers of America. Always writing, he is completing a new crime novel that is due to be published in 2023. So, ladies and gentlemen, there he is, the man that we are talking to. It's Jack Nerad. Yay!
Well, thank you very much. I feel like I should be laid out in front of you there, with a lily in my palm.
You and
Very
the
nice.
Sues right there.
Yeah, me and the Susan.
Yeah, very nice.
Jack, is all that true?
Yeah, essentially it's all true.
Well,
Absolutely
so we
true.
want to know what
The 2023 part about the new crime novel, obviously, is not true because that has yet to be published, but it will be published in 2024. I
And
imagine.
Kathy loved the book you sent her. She's waiting on another one.
yeah.
Well, that's sweet.
Well,
Glad to hear that.
well, Jack, it's always an honor and a pleasure to talk to you today. And I guess my first question to you, sir, being the man of knowledge, is what do you think about, first of all, that the United Auto Workers, obviously their strike is coming to an end, or at least we think that it may be. What are your feelings on that?
Well, I think all the big 3 auto manufacturers are between a rock and a hard place. So, that proverbial rock and hard place, right? I mean, they can't have their workers be on strike. Obviously, they're not building cars, and then they're not selling cars, and they're not making money. And even though the industry is gigantic, billions and billions and billions, essentially each month, they can't go long without selling cars or without selling a large number of cars, or they're on the edge. It's a financial problem. On the other hand, if they totally give in to demands of the United Auto Workers and pay their workers essentially a third more, twice as much, depending on how you look at it, much more than their competitors are paying, that's not a recipe for success either. So it's a difficult situation to figure out. And, Ford obviously was the first one to crack here and decide, okay, we've got to make a deal and start cranking out vehicles again. The others are holding out a little bit, but we'll see what happens with that. And it's a difficult situation. For the American economy, it's not as big a deal as it used to be because so many cars, the majority of cars sold in the United States, are built by non-union workers. So that's something to keep in mind, too.
Yeah, and that's my take on the fact that here we've got the Auto Workers Union workers that are building American cars in the United States, and now those prices of those cars are going to rise to the point where I don't think that they'll really be able to go head-to-head with the quality of cars in many cases that, for instance, a Mercedes, a BMW, a high-end Honda, whatever the case may be, are they going to be able to compete with that?
It's very difficult. I mean, they've got to shave their margins because the market won't let them raise prices very much. We've seen such escalation in prices now. Prices are escalating at the same time. We have the highest interest rates in, 20 years or something like that? Yep. Most people are buying with a car loan, and car loans are 12, 14% for a lot of people these days. That's a very difficult time for car manufacturers, and it hasn't really come home to roost yet, but I think at some point it's going to.
All right, well, let's shift gears, and let's talk about something that you have driven lately that impressed you.
Well, I've driven a lot of vehicles lately that impressed me. I just came off the North American Car of the Year testing in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I was there most of the week, and a lot of very interesting vehicles there. I think the Kia EV9, that three-row all-electric sport utility, was impressive to me. I mean, that's an EV of a kind of different type. I think there's only one other three-row out there right now in the marketplace, and three-row SUVs, of course, are the bread and butter of the market. A lot of people buy those. Those are the family vehicles of today. Very impressive vehicle from a lot of points of view, and at the same time, it's expensive for the average household. So, and that is the problem with electric vehicles. I think you guys have all driven them, or you like them when you drive them. I certainly like them when I drive them, but the combined problem of cost and lack of range or lack of flexibility with range are big problems, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, and the fact that the charging stations may or may not work if you can find one.
And the added cost of putting a level 2 charging station in your house doesn't include the cost of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many.
And, that could be $5,000 or something like that, depending on what your situation is. And that's a pretty big commitment to put it in your house with the idea that, well, maybe I'll try an electric car, but the next time I'll buy a gasoline car. Well, a study we saw recently, we reported on the radio show, actually, is pretty fascinating. About half the people who own an electric vehicle say the next vehicle they're going to buy is a gasoline-powered vehicle, which I think you guys all get that makes sense. I think having an electric vehicle in the household isn't a bad idea necessarily. But having it as your single car or relying on a fleet of just electrics, I think that's probably not the best idea.
Not right now.
Not
anyway.
today.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe 5 years from now, I think that it'd be something to consider, but we'll see how that goes. Have you gotten any insight into your governor running for the presidential nomination?
Well, I have a sense that our esteemed governor, Gavin Newsom, is going to speak at the Los Angeles Auto Show, media day of the Los Angeles Auto Show, which is coming up in November. I think it's the 16th of November. I happen to know that because we're going to announce the finalists in North American Car of the Year, Truck of the Year, and Utility of the Year also at that event. So I have a little insight into what might happen there. That's, the governor's schedule is fluid. different than my schedule.
Yeah.
A lot less fluid.
And there's never been a camera he's not afraid to step in
And he
front
doesn't
of.
impress me as a
Exactly
car
true.
guy either.
Exactly true.
Well, and I also understand that you accompanied him on your visit to China last week.
No, I didn't do that. No, I didn't see him on the China visit. I've been to China once. I'm not really eager to go back.
No, didn't impress you.
Well, it impressed me in a lot of ways, but it also was kind of chilling in a way or two.
Yeah.
That I'm not certain I want to go back.
You should write a book about it.
Back to cars, Jack. You know, Stellantis is pulled out of SEMA. They pulled out of CES and the LA Auto Show.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Don't know what's going to happen after the CES show, the first part of January.
Well, it's difficult times, and I, as I was saying, you know, these companies are more on the edge than you would think, and that's a pretty quick way for them to save, you know, $4 or $5 million, maybe more. And in the scheme of a global car company whose turn is billions of dollars, maybe that's not a lot of money, but that's where they're at. You know, they're kind of conserving right now. So interesting stuff, and their future is a difficult one to conceive of. I mean, they're not all in on electrics, but they're not really renewing their gasoline-powered cars, at least as they would normally do. So where does that leave them?
Well, and especially with Mary Barra's interview this week talking about how much GM has lost on electric vehicles, and there is very little consumer demand for them, and that's the direction they're going.
Yeah. I mean, I really worry about GM's direction. I worry about any car company. He has done the same thing, really committed to electrics, and in the short term, at least, and probably in the medium term, that might not be the right play. It's looking more likely that isn't the right play, and you see companies like Ford Motor Company saying, you know, kind of pumping the brakes a little bit on some of its electric.
$3 billion's about enough that we want to lose right now. Let's slow down a little bit.
So
it gets to be real money, you know. That's $3 billion.
what else besides Stellantis pulling out of the LA Auto Show, which was kind of a shock to me? Do you see that happening more and more at new car shows across the United States? Car
shows are kind of on the edge too, and I think auto shows are terrific. I just think they're wonderful, and I remember being as a kid I grew up in Chicago, going to the Chicago Auto Show and spending a lot of time there as a teenager, and just really falling in love with the whole thing. You know, just the great cars and the elaborate displays, and you know,
and the pretty girls.
The whole thing. It was, yeah, exactly. I can't say I didn't like that too. So I love that, and I think it's a great opportunity in a totally non-pressure situation for the average person to go in and try out a bunch of cars and fall in love with a particular car. This industry depends on emotional attachment to vehicles. You know, otherwise we'd all drive a Honda Civic or something like that, right? But that isn't what we drive, because cars express us, and the industry needs people to fall in love with cars, and I think an auto show is a great place to let them do that, or help them do that.
Well, I know that last year, anyway, that Cadillac decided not to join the Houston Auto Show, and so the dealers stepped up.
Yeah,
they got together and they supplied some cars. That the cars were locked, and you know they had representatives from the dealership there that you could talk to about the car, but they wanted to sell you a car, so it was a different atmosphere. And I fear that is the way that new car shows are going to go. They'll all get together and have a new car show, but it'll all be dealers in the area, the Chevy dealer group, the Ford dealer group, the GM dealer group, however it may be, that they all get together, and it's basically going to be one big sales pitch on every place that you go to see.
I know the Chicago Auto Dealers put together a consumer drive event that was very successful, and they're probably going to repeat that.
They recently did that with the Cadillac Lyriq in the area here a week or so ago, Thursday to Sunday, or Thursday to Saturday, and they also do that at the show. They do the drive-in rides.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So, Jack,
I really fear, especially with most of the luxury brands pulling out of auto shows, and that seems more prevalent. I think Porsche has also left the LA show, and Porsche basically had its own exhibit hall at
Wow.
the Los Angeles show. It was one of the most elaborate exhibits. It was always terrific, and again, a place to fall in love with that kind of car. And I think they're missing a bet here, but it's short-term thinking, right?
Particularly out there in L.A. I mean, that's
That's the motor capital of the world out there.
Yeah, and it's a Porsche capital of the world too. I mean,
Yeah,
exactly.
That
see
and
more
Tesla.
Porsches than Chevrolets out here.
Well, Jack, it's always great to talk to you, and thanks so much for joining us today. You're a great guy. We love talking to you. And what's the price of gas out there today?
It's about $5.50 gallon for regular.
Yikes! Well, we're right underneath $3.
Yeah, I paid $2.84 the other day.
So
That's pretty good. Yeah, I was in, as I said, I was in Michigan. It was $3.50 or something like that when I was there.
well, the invitation is still open. Come on to Texas. We'll love to have you.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get there and sit with you guys. And thanks for the eulogy today. I appreciate it.
Hey, let us know when you come. We'll have to clean up the studio, get the beer cans out of the back, and all that.
And you
Don't
can't
bother to
wait.
do that.
And you can't wait until Gavin gets completely out of California.
Yeah, tell me about it.
yeah. Thanks again, Jack.
Thanks again.
So much.
My
Appreciate you.
pleasure. Great to see you guys. Have
You
a great
too.
week.
You too. Didn't mean to cut
It's
you
an
off.
amazing guy.
Really
He
is.
truly is a very talented guy, and love talking to him. All right, time now for the events calendar. Conrad has events.
Well, first thing is Northside Mustang Club is having their fall open car show November 4th, and that'll be at Bull Salas Park in New Caney. Labor Day weekend, the 11th or the 10th and 11th, will be the 17th annual Heroes and Hot Rod Veterans Day weekend in downtown Bastrop, held by the Bastrop Area Cruisers. Also on 11/4 is the 4th annual Benefit and Taps and Turbo Car Show at No Label Brewing in Caney.
Tats and turbos.
Taps.
Taps.
Tappers.
Oh, taps.
beer
not
taps.
Beer
Oh,
taps.
beer tap. I thought it was tats like
Tattoos.
ink, like ink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be a good one. Come get inked up. Don can get the Corvette flags on the lower part of his back. Hide that butterfly he's had for years
Why would you know
With
that?
wings.
Why would you know that?
with wings, right? Well, because I've seen his butterfly has now turned into moth.
I don't know that. I need to
let's
know that.
Turned into
Oh,
moths.
And what else?
Anyhow,
Do you have anything else?
Back to you, Mike.
nope, that's it.
That's it. All right. Time now for this hour's car review.
busy,
Mr.
don't bother.
Mars has got a review of the
Oh,
Kia
yeah.
Kona. No, it's not the Kia Kona. It's the Cesar Romero toenail.
Oh yeah.
It's the 2024 Alfa Romeo. How do you Romeo?
Romeo.
Do it, Jeff?
Romero.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cesar Romero.
the Tonale, the Veloce Tonale E all-wheel drive. That's a plug-in hybrid. That's the best. That's the best Italian I got. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Guido.
So this is a plug-in hybrid 2024, and I wanted to note, I found in my research, 2025 Alfa Romeo will all be electric. They will not produce
Oh,
any more
wow.
gas. It comes in 3 trim levels. The Veloce is the top trim level. It's subcompact 5-passenger vehicle, and it's new for 2024. Got the special PHEV badging on it, the grille, lighting on it. It's got a lot of little touches on it that relate to the heritage of Alfa Romeo. That's wrong.
Notice he's got to talk with his
Yeah,
hands.
I'm
I'm trying. I'm trying to learn how to do that. Anyway, so up front, you're going to find the LED lighting in the front and the rear. Got power heated folding mirrors, the hands-free power liftgate on the back of it, power moonroof. It comes with 19-inch standard wheels, but we had the 20 by 8-inch Grigio wheels that really look pretty good on it because it's got the fatter tires and things on it. Inside, you're going to find you got leather seating. The front seats are heated and ventilated. Got a 12.3-inch color display for the driver, so you're going to have all your gauges and all your meters and monitors are all right there. 10.25-inch touchscreen where the Uconnect 5 is. Surround view camera, your nav, all your good convenience controls are all right there. Got a wireless charger on it, and the Harman Kardon audio will really fill it up.
That Jimmy Buffett sound.
Oh, lots of things on it. Up under the hood, you're going to find a 1.3-liter turbo. Now, this is back to you, Jeff. 1.3-liter turbo that is for the front wheels. The 121 horsepower equivalent electric component of it's for the rear wheel drive.
Ah.
And once you take off in the electric mode, when you shift into second gear, the gasoline motor starts.
Gotcha.
So first gear uses that torque of that e-motor to really get it up and rolling. So you get a combined 285 total horsepower in this all-wheel drive vehicle that's backed by a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, the EPA says on gas only, you're looking at about 29 miles per gallon.
Dang.
If you get the MPGE, the electronic component, it says 77. So it's basically, I don't know, it's kind of around the 30 combined thing. But I drove this thing 287.1 miles, and best I can tell, putting all this together on all the gauges that are on there, I got 26.6 overall mile per gallon equivalent for the week that I drove it. Comes with 3 drive modes, and that's where you get into the whole. One of them I thought was interesting. D is for the dual power, and that's really what you can manually control the EV in the first gear, and then the second gear it kicks in the gas motor.
Did you notice a difference in it?
Yeah, you know, because normally if you to do that, you use the torque of the EV. You're kind of doing the on-ramp the freeway entrance test, and it's already under such more acceleration.
So it wasn't a hard transition.
No, it's not. If you're just in a normal drive mode or in a normal driving pattern in that dual power mode, I couldn't tell.
That's good.
I like the car.
You know, there was
I like
a little
it.
bit of noise. I mean, you could tell something else kicked in, but other than that, just that was it.
I think it's appealing.
2 suspension levels, and all that's based on the drive mode. But overall, it's a sports car ride. It's got a firm ride to it, and no doubt about it. And it's got those performance tires on it, which contribute to that. Overall, the base model price on a vehicle like this is $44,590. The base trim price is $47,495. Now, the as tested price, $57,450 for this vehicle. So if you're looking for something to compare it to,
57,000.
Yes, sir. That's what it said.
Okay.
You're looking for something to compare it to. Audi Q3. It's a little tough trying to find a plug-in electric hybrid to compare all this to. But if you look at the sizing of it and the pricing, Audi Q3 is at $38,790. The BMW X1's at $41,495, and the Mercedes-Benz GLB is at $42,000 for this Alfa Romeo Tonale vehicle.
You know, did you have issues? I know both of you had issues with the plug portion of it to the house. Was there anything like that you?
I did
had
not
concerns?
try and do that.
Did you? Was it a 110 plugger that you had that came with
It had
the car?
that adaptability, but I could never get situated where I could leave it for the 9 hours that it said would take to charge it.
Oh,
Why not?
Oh.
Well, just because I'd have to run a long extension cord. And I didn't want to do that. I mean, I wanted to get close enough that the cord would
buy some
car.
wires.
They're all right there.
I couldn't find them. They were all in the case. No, just situations where I just couldn't get it situated right to do that.
If you dare. This program is available 24/7 on iHeartRadio. Just search for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and sometimes on InWheelTime.com, but not today. 30-minute podcast at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets out there. The In Wheel Time Car Talk show continues right after this quick break.
Tailpipes and Tacos is back. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, and it's an extra special one. Bring your Hot Rod Classic or Modern Classic to compete for one of the famous Chili Pepper trophies and get a free breakfast taco. Just make a donation of any size to God's Garage and Lupi's will match it. You'll be helping single mothers who need a set of wheels. It's been almost a year in the making, so you won't want to miss Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate what you want to God's Garage, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy at 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's car show season, and what better way to kick it off than a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Proceeds benefit God's Garage.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you will find on GM parts plus transmissions and engines. over $25 million in parts and powertrain inventory and customer service that will be not matched by anyone in the country. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance, whether you are a drag racer, an oval track racer, a hot rodder, it matters not. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance will have the best price in the country, the best customer service, and the best delivery times that you will find on your GM parts. It can be on your dock, at your front door in a matter of days. It's Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, and customer service to boot. Contact our Texas team, Gina Shile-Knowles at 713-907-0906 or Rodney Rodriguez at 512-300-4445. You will not find better service or better inventory in the country. Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance.
Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
It's the Halloween edition of the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Coming up. Was that a boo?
No, boo is in Scary Boo. That's what you wanted to do?
Yep,
Yeah.
Scary Boo.
Let me hear it. Boo. That's real scary.
Mike tried it, but his was booze.
Coming up, Jillian Mendoza from the Marshall Center for Advanced Careers. We'll have the upcoming... No, we're not going to do the events calendar. We are going to do...
Dun, dun, dun.
We're going to finish up on the Hemmings Sold Cars review and the contest that we have amongst ourselves as to what the actual sold price is for those cars. It's always fun. We also got the headlines coming up. I'm going to finish that up, too. We're going to finish everything up in this half hour.
Yes. Yeah.
Almost
and then we're going to decorate for the 4th of July after this.
Let's go to the Marshall Center for Advanced Careers out there in Alief, Texas.
Look at these fellas.
Yeah. And Jillian Mendoza, are you there?
Yes, that is me.
Is it Julian or Julian?
Julian Mendoza.
Okay.
Very good.
Just
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear us? Hello, America.
Yes, loud and clear.
So that's quite an impressive shop that's going on back there. What shop is that?
This is actually at our career center over here in Alief, ISD.
Yeah.
And it's state of the art. I think I'm not exactly sure how much money they spent on it, but they spent quite a bit. We have a total of, I want to say, about 15 different lifts.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
It's a dealership.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So who do you have there sitting next to
you
you?
got some impressive young men there.
So we have our students here. They're going to go ahead and present themselves.
My name is Kevin. I'm a senior at Essex High School.
Hi, my name's Jose. I'm a senior at Essex High School as well.
Hello, my name is Juan Pablo. I'm a senior at Hastings High School.
Ooh, all right. The competition right across the parking lot.
There you go.
Yes,
right.
I used to live out in Alief back in the 80s, early 80s.
All before you guys were born.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, exactly. But yes, as a matter of fact, right down the street from where you are. Is that where the shop is out there at the high school?
No, it's actually located off of Richmond and West Houston, right across the street from the, I think it's called the West Houston Medical Center.
Yeah. I know where that is, yeah. Not too far from the police station out there.
There you go, yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so.
Kind of makes your test drives a little mellow.
It does. It does that. So, Julian, why don't you explain to everybody what this facility is in the Marshall Center for Advanced Careers. Tell us about it. Give us a little overview here.
Okay, so there's a little overview. So, I mean, as far as how it is, it's state of the art, of course. It almost kind of looks like a college. You have a whole bunch of other different trades that are going to include culinary. They're going to include architect. They're also going to have medical field. They're going to have robotics, veterinary. They're going to have construction, welding, and a whole bunch of other things that I'm probably not going to be able to mention all the way. But yeah, it's huge. It almost looks like I'm not sure if y'all traveled to the what is it called, San Jacinto College?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
it almost reminds me of that in a way. Yes.
Oh, very good.
Well, whose idea was to put this together? Because I don't know of a high school that's got this kind of facility, and that actually is teaching these kids at the high school level at this level.
Yeah.
To be honest, I got on board about, I want to say about 6 years ago, and they had built it before I got here. So I'm not 100% sure, but whoever, I think Mr. Chambers was here back then. I'm not sure if he was the one who thought of the idea or how exactly it happened. But for the most part, I'm very appreciative because I'm actually a high school A-Leaf Hastings graduate as well. So I wish they would have had this back in my day, I guess you could say. I graduated in 2010, and this center was built in 2018.
So what's your automotive background, Julian?
My automotive background is going to be, I actually started in 10th grade in A-Leaf Hastings High School. I really did not know what I wanted to do at that point. And I ended up choosing automotive because, of course, that was a way of making money and making a living, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So at my 11th grade year, I actually earned an internship at Mossy Nissan off of Katy Freeway. Mm-hmm. And that kind of showed me a little bit about what I was going to be exposed to. So what I ended up doing was, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pursue this career. And I ended up working for Nissan as an intern. And then after I graduated, they ended up hiring me full time. So I worked there for about 9 years. And after working there for about 9 years, I furthered my career and I went to Sewell Cadillac right across the street and worked there for about 6 months. After that 6-month period, I had a phone call from Mr. Lozano and Mr. Riddle, which were my instructors here in A-Leaf ISD. And they gave me an opportunity of a lifetime, I think. I really enjoy working with these kids and, of course, making them kind of reach new highs, I guess you could say.
Congratulations to you.
Is this a 3 or 4 year course that you have offered out there?
It's going to be a 4-year course. They start off as freshmen, 9th graders.
Wow, sweet.
And is there a co-op aspect of it where they get associated with a shop, be it a dealership or an independent shop, where they'll co-op some of their time there?
Yeah, so they do have like little internships, but they're going to be for your seniors only. And actually, these guys got an internship because of this competition that we were in at Sterling McCall Nissan, yes.
What's the competition? Let's hear about that.
Okay, so this competition pretty much just tested their skills and abilities and how to look up information using ALLDATA. They also had things that they had to work on that included kind of electrical circuits, diagnosing electrical circuits. They also had, I believe, tire pressure monitoring systems that they had to see and, of course, work on as well. They also had, I want to say, what was it, DTC scanners, I believe? DTC, yes. And so those scanners, I think, were for their appropriate dealership. So I think there was multiple dealerships that sponsored different students. And so our dealership, we were very fortunate to have a Nissan dealership. And of course, since my background is also in Nissan, kind of helped them out a little bit.
I want to hear from some of the other panel guests there on what they think. Anybody?
So yeah, we got this great opportunity to work at Nissan and also to attend this competition and just basically show off our skills that we learned in the career center.
So when you're at the dealership, you're talking, and I'm assuming it was Sterling McCall. Was that where you guys were? Is that where you guys are interning?
Yes,
Okay.
Sterling McCall Nissan.
So when you're there at the dealership, are you interning with a line technician, a level technician, and you're acting as his apprentice so you can get a little mentorship from him? Or do they give you individual responsibilities that you're standalone working on cars?
Yes, so the shop foreman, he assigns us to one technician, and it's different every day that he assigns us to a different technician. And basically, we just work with them on the jobs that they get so that we can learn how to document it and how to diagnose and basically
Do the repair, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for you, because I know in the dealership world, documentation is the key, because documentation is what keeps them from getting charged back in an audit. The information you put on paper is critical in your diagnostic process of the complaint, cause, and correction all the way to completion, and that information not only goes back to the factory warranty system, but it's also provided to the customer to understand what they spent their $1,000 on, or whatever amount of money they spent. Is that's very critical. So I'm glad to see that that's part of your education.
And to Conrad's point, there's more than just the mechanical end of it in a dealership. There's finance, there's parts, there's operations. There's so many avenues that you can step into that. I think that's great.
So do you, Kevin, do you get to expand your view beyond just working with the technicians into some of those other aspects of a dealership?
Yes, we can also, we walk into parts, and we also talk to service managers when they bring in a vehicle, and we have to talk to the customer, but we don't know the full situation of it. So we have to talk to the service manager to acquire more information on the vehicle.
Yeah, because it's beyond just you getting the car. The service advisor has to communicate effectively what the customer's concern is to help you in the diagnostic process. So, that communication's bi-directional. It's got to make sure everybody's communicating effectively to help you fix the car correctly. So is your plan, the three students, is your plan to continue to go to work at Sterling McCall, or are you looking at any other brands besides that?
Yes. Well, I'm planning on continuing my work in there because I really like the environment that Sterling McCall Nissan provides.
They have an air-conditioned shop?
Yes.
There you go. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
So, Julian, I have to ask you, what do the students have a regular curriculum that they have to follow and make passing grades on to be in this program?
Actually, we have a core class. Yeah, we have a core class.
Yeah.
Well, Juan, you haven't said too much, so why don't you explain
why don't
that?
you answer?
Yeah. So on top of this, we also have our core classes at our main campus, and so be able to be eligible our freshman year here, we must have passing grades at our home campus on all our core classes. So once we choose our endorsement at home campus, we're put here into like a waiting list per se, and then they look at our grades and all that, and then if they see us fit to come over here, they'll choose us, and we'll start coming over here.
Okay, so my question to you is, I don't even know what the curriculum is anymore, but I would imagine that going into your freshman year there, that you have had some sort of computer experience, perhaps in middle school. Have you?
Yes, so I think most of us take on our freshman year, we take a Principles of Introduction Tech, which is just basic computer skills.
Yes. And so with that, I mean, can you specialize in that aspect of your curriculum and bring that into the Marshall Center for Advanced Careers?
Yes, so actually we also offer IT here at the center. So if you really like computer, you can start with introduction on Principles of Tech, and then just keep on going through that pathway into IT here, and then there's different level classes.
So I'm guessing you're split. So you go to your high school for half a day or so many hours, and then you come over here to the center.
Yep, that's how it's done.
And so, what is your schedule like? You go to school and get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then at what time do you come over to the center?
Yes, so my schedule, I have my 6th and 7th period, which start at roughly around 12:45 to 1 over here, 6th period. So I'm here for double block. So 6th and 7th period, I'm over here.
And then after that, then you go to the dealership?
Yes, uh-huh.
And how do you
actually that internship works as instead of coming to class, they just check in with us, and after checking in with us, they get basically, instead of doing the class here in our classroom, they're going to the shop and learning and getting pretty much that same experience.
So, Julian, you get feedback from, I'll assume, service manager, shop foreman, and their assigned technician as far as their progress there at the internship, correct?
Yes, sir. And just to kind of see what they're learning, just to kind of keep everything within the curriculum.
Now you've got some young men there. You got some young ladies in the class too.
We do have a lot of young ladies, and I think next year in this competition, we're going to go ahead and include some young ladies because they weren't seniors this year. Next year, we will have them as seniors. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be top tier technicians later on in the future.
Yeah, you fellas better watch out.
Now, is your program? Are you required to be NATEF certified?
Yes, I believe we are ASC accredited and NATEF certified. Yes.
Yeah, because I know NATEF's a pretty hard certification to get. When I worked for GM, we used to do a lot of the certifications for it. It's quite complex, and not just your educational value that you deliver, but also the facilities as well and the equipment that you have.
Now let's go back, if you don't mind, to the 8th grade. Before all of this, how did you learn about this program to apply for it, to become into that program when you were a freshman there?
So in our middle schools, there's a certain specific week that we come here to the Marshall Center as a tour, and we're giving a little insight on all of the little different careers that they offer. And from there on, we just base it off of what we want to do and what interested us the most when we did the tour.
Like we used to have Career Day.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is happening in middle school.
Career Center Day.
Yeah.
Except it's not your parents going to your school, but rather you're getting a first-hand look from the students.
I love it.
So as seniors, you guys are coming up to about halfway through your senior year. Have you already had that conversation with whoever your co-op store dealership is as far as continuation after you graduate?
So we haven't had that talk yet, but they're assuming after we graduate, we are going to be offered a position over there at Nissan, and they hope that we take it and continue with our education over there, and they might send us to different schools for Nissan training.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That'd be cool. I'm thinking those four right there. They need to do a car talk show.
Yeah, exactly. You're all set up to do that.
Yeah. Listen, so back to the contest. You three won some of the awards and got some trophies and stuff, right? So is there another contest that you're going to the next level?
Yes, so we're going to Dallas-Fort Worth, to Texas Motor Speedway on December 2nd and 3rd. First and second. Yeah. To compete in the North Texas Automobile Dealers, which we will be representing the only Houston team that entered to that competition.
Well, congratulations to you guys.
The three of you, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Very good. Well, listen, it's great to talk to you guys. Thanks so much for coming to school today and talking to us as a team, because that's what you are, obviously. And it's great to have you on board with us, and what a great program. God, I wish I'd have had that.
Yeah,
no lie.
Wow.
Wish I could get it now.
Julian, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, good luck to you guys on your next.
Congratulations.
Go to Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. All right, gosh.
I know.
Love to have had that in high school.
I'm
Nothing.
telling you.
I went to Richardson Chevrolet after school every day and worked there for
buffed
3 years.
pinstripes in the edges of cars.
That's right. made pinstripes by buffing them into the paint. I was a brilliant man, I'll tell you that.
You still are.
Kind of like I am today.
A shining star.
A shining star.
Buffing.
Yeah, buffing. Oh, don't ask me to buff a car. I will ruin your paint job just like that. All right, we're going to continue on with our little contest that we have amongst ourselves. Hemmings Sold Car Weekly Roundup. So I picked a few cars, and this is a 1972 Chevy Chevelle with a black vinyl top on it. Looks like it's got some door edge trim on it. It looks completely stock. What do you think?
72, you said?
A 72 Chevy Chevelle. Now, is it a 6-cylinder or an 8-cylinder?
Yeah,
I don't know.
know.
It's got bumper guards on the front of it.
It's all there, though.
$6,000.
Oh, I'll say 18.
Then I'll go 21.
All right, that's great because the Jeff's going to win this and sold for $8,700.
Whoa.
I could afford that.
Exactly. Here's one for you. I just had to throw this in there. You ready? A 1983 Plymouth Scamp.
Is that little pickup truck car?
Yes. You remember the Scamp?
It
was a tramp.
Including the tow bill, $1,200.
3,000.
No. Let's go for 7.
Mars wins $10,500.
Oh, wow. They must have put a wax job on it.
Unique. It's unique.
An 83 Plymouth Scamp. There you go. Here's one. Mars, this is yours. This is a country truck here, a 1950 Chevrolet 3100. It looks completely stock. It's got a fresh paint job on it. It's got steel wheels with hubcaps on it. It's even got the spare tire on that step side bed that's on it. It looks like it's just a stock truck. 1950 3100 Chevrolet. How much?
15.
I'm going to go 35.
Oh, no.
17.
17. Well, how about $10,000? There you go, Mars. It's yours. You can take it right home to Neaterville. All right. Here's one that everybody wants, including me, a 68 Chevy El Camino.
Ooh.
68 Chevy El Camino. It's clearly been painted. It's streetable. It's nothing.
Got the big block hood on it?
I can't really tell. I don't know. I can't tell that. But let's just say that it's got just a small block Chevy V8 in it. What do you think? A 68 Chevy El Camino.
I'll say
25.
17.
10 grand.
34,000.
Ooh.
I'll take a win again.
Yep.
Mike is on fire this week.
No, I've tried to buy these vehicles.
A 1965 Dodge Monaco.
Oh.
With rich Corinthian
Except for that
leather.
Well, no, they didn't have that in 65. Dodge Monaco. What do you think that sold for? Now it looks stock hubcaps.
That car came with its own zip code.
Baby blue interior, baby blue exterior.
$4 grand for me.
$4 grand for Jeff. Conrad, what do you think?
I'll say 7.
7. Mike,
$7,500.
$9,500.
Ooh.
Mars wins again.
Wow.
Okay, 61 Plymouth Belvedere.
Oh my gosh.
A 61 Plymouth Belvedere actually sold. Who would want to buy that?
$4 grand.
It's a tank. I'm going to say 8,500.
Oh my God. Okay.
6.
8,500 on the nose, Mars.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
He's on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm done for the day.
What's in that
I need
chocolate?
to get I got to get a couple of stories in. That's it.
Okay.
Mars took 6 of them.
Congratulations.
Jeff took 1. I took Bupkis.
Butkus, that's it. Chevrolet is replacing its decade-old Find New Roads advertising tagline, thank God, with the new tagline, Together, Let's Drive.
Because we have no idea where we're going.
A slogan that brand marketing leaders say is designed to evoke a sense of connection in transformational times.
Together, let's drive.
Together, let's drive. The new tagline debuts Friday at Game 1 of the Major League Baseball World Series, so they debuted it last night, with an ad highlighting vehicle affordability, okay, including the new Track subcompact crossover that starts at $21,495 with shipping.
Because I'm going to follow the tow truck real close. Didn't work, huh?
No, I was thinking is better than, here, hold my beer.
Well, if you buy an EV, you get Bud Light with it.
A case.
A case of it that they can't sell. It's left over.
Go to the doctor. I got a case of Bud Lights.
Hey,
Okay.
MMA just took them on for a couple of billion.
Yeah, and boy, the MMA has caught some crap over that. Ooh, it's bad.
He's just taking money.
I'm trying to find something that I really wanted to get in. Let's see. Oh, this is it. The Federal Trade Commission and the Wisconsin Department of Justice have reached a combined settlement of $1.1 million against Rhinelander Auto Center and affiliated parties for allegedly charging illegal junk fees and discriminating against American Indian customers. What? The FTC and Wisconsin Department of Justice accused Rhinelander of charging its customers upward of $1,000
Wisconsin.
for add-ons without their consent, according to a combined statement released Wednesday. Rhinelander also was accused of unfairly marking up the transactions of American Indian customers. Though it agreed to the settlement, Rhinelander denied any wrongdoing. Well, of course they did. What in the world? You know, it's hard to believe that crap like that still exists today.
Still goes on, yeah.
American Indians? Oh, he's an American Indian, so we're going to charge him an extra $1,000 for the car.
Idiots.
Who does that? Who does that?
Well, the people that got caught right there did.
Rhinelander. I guess that's the name of the auto group.
Yeah. Well, there's a city called Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
Oh, is there? I know.
Yeah. That's what drew my attention to the story. And then I'm going, well, it doesn't say anything about American Indians in the headline. It just says Wisconsin Dealership Group agrees to pay $1.1 million to settle accusation of junk fees and discrimination. And
well, the junk fees, a lot of dealers get away with all of those junk fees that they charge. The documentation fees, the transfer fees,
the delivery fee.
Yeah, all of that's been part of the game for years. And you really got to watch the paperwork you're signing to make sure they're not turning you upside down and trying to shake all the money out of your pocket.
All right, time now for a quick break here on the End Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We're going to wrap up today's show, Halloween edition, right after this.
Tailpipes and Tacos is back. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, and it's an extra special one. Bring your Hot Rod Classic or Modern Classic to compete for one of the famous Chili Pepper trophies and get a free breakfast taco. Just make a donation of any size to God's Garage and Lupi's will match it. You'll be helping single mothers who need a set of wheels. It's been almost a year in the making, so you won't want to miss Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate what you want to God's Garage, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy at 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's car show season, and what better way to kick it off than a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Proceeds benefit God's Garage.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you will find on GM parts plus transmissions and engines. Over $25 million in parts and powertrain inventory and customer service that will be not matched by anyone in the country. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance, whether you are a drag racer, an oval track racer, a hot rodder, it matters not. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance will have the best price in the country, the best customer service, and the best delivery times that you will find on your GM parts. It can be on your dock, at your front door in a matter of days. It's Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, and customer service to boot. Contact our Texas team, Gina Shile-Knowles at 713-907-0906 or Rodney Rodriguez at 512-300-4445. You will not find better service or better inventory in the country. Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance.
Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
Well, that's it for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Here's your invitation to follow us on Facebook. Give us a like if you would, please. Tell your friends about us and share our stuff. We'll keep you posted on all things automotive all week long, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing, car, truck, and SUV goodies.
Yep.
You can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. We live stream the show on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com when it works. Every Saturday, 8 to 11 a.m. Central Time. Daily 30-minute podcasts are available on your favorite streaming provider. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Advisor and Video Technical Director is We Always Need More Jeff Zekin. The Booking Agent and Car Polisher Mike Mars. Mr. Know-It-All, his royalty King Conrad DeLong. I am Don Armstrong. Don't tell anybody that. We hope you'll join us for another live, award-winning production of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, Saturday, November 4th, 2023, on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. And a reminder to join us for Tailpipes and Tacos, the Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, Saturday, November 11th, 8 to 11. Have a great weekend, and we hope to see you again next week.